Hey, what's up, everybody? Today it's just Bill, and I got two special guests today. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Austin.
Returning guest.
A returning guest, Austin.
Hi, I'm Megan.
Yeah.
First time guest. Thank you.
Yeah.
Real quick, sorry everybody last week that we didn't have video. I forgot the camera. I'm an idiot. It happens. Sorry. So you're going to be staring at the background at least for the entire video on YouTube. Obviously the audio is going to be fine. But thank you to Malcolm for last week for being on the show. Appreciate it. But let's get to you guys.
Yeah.
Once again, sorry that Jason's not here. I wish he could have been here. This could have been fun for him, but
It could have been fun. It could have been fun for
he's
everyone.
a real piece of shit for not coming. So fuck that guy.
We
Straight.
all agree.
We all agree. You hear that, Jason?
I'm just going to keep making fun of him because there's nothing he can do because I won't see him for like 3 weeks. So
This
I'm
was
just gonna be like,
scheduled. This was on the
your
schedule.
Fault. We
It's
tried
just-
really
All the way
hard
out
too
there.
to like get this all coordinated. At the last minute, he was like, "I go to work." I'm like, fuck." Like, all right, thanks, buddy. But anyway,
You know, I feel like I didn't quite. I feel like the "I'm Austin" intro wasn't exactly the intro I wanted to say. I don't know why that question caught me off guard.
threw you off
I don't know
to
what else
introduce
I
yourself.
would say.
How do you normally introduce yourself?
I'm Austin. I don't know. That's probably
That's-
it, actually.
okay, that's
I'm
good.
Austin, and I'm Megan. That's actually kind of all it is. We just, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
good. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so obviously you were here on the show before, and we were talking about Outrun the Sunlight, but we're gonna be talking about something a little bit different this time, right?
Yeah. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, I think. I don't know. I kind of want to talk about a million things. And
That's what this is for. Yeah.
yeah. But we, Megan and I, have a community meditation group that meets in Chicago once a month called Embodied Together. And it's sort of a community meditation that gets redistributed as like downloadable albums so that you can do the meditations at home.
Yeah, I saw you guys have a YouTube page for it, so
Yes.
it's got the sessions on there, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, check that out, guys.
Yeah. If you want to get some deep, good silence.
And I'm trying to remember, did we talk about this when you were on the show? Because I feel like I know I talked to you about this. My life and the show kind of like go together, so I don't know what parts of my life have been on this and not. And
Yeah,
I know
it's
we
okay.
talked about
We definitely
this.
talked about this, but
Yeah.
I don't think I knew Megan when I
Okay.
wasn't last on the podcast. So like we have sort of an interesting Genesis story.
Yeah, I want to
which
hear it.
could be
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Well, Megan is my therapist, which is sort of it's fucking awesome. Actually, is what it is.
Nice.
But
The licensing board wouldn't agree, but
the licensing board. Yeah,
won't tell
don't give this to Bloomberg Media because then they'll try and make a podcast about how she's taking advantage of me. It's not true. And I know, and it's funny because I actually know that it's not true, and I feel like that's exactly what someone who would be being taken advantage of would say. But I do know
properly
that
brainwashed.
I do know that it's not true. But yeah, we met in 2017 or something, before you left the practice that I met you at to start your own. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe before I set this story up, like, do you want to talk a little bit about like what you do? Because I feel like
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know what the order of events could happen, because it's not just like we have a non-traditional relationship, and she does a non-traditional form of therapy, and we do non-traditional meditation. So everything is just like I don't know. Like, where did all that start? I feel like is the question. I don't know.
Yeah, I could probably give a little context
Yeah.
to how I'm non-traditional, and then how very naturally kind of all my relationships include, although ours is uniquely
Uniquely non-traditional.
Yeah, and uniquely non-traditional. So yeah, I'm a clinical psychologist, very sort of traditional training, you know, analytic work, cognitive behavioral stuff, very little incorporation of the body at all, and very little incorporation of like the healing traditions in like meditation. So it really took graduating and being in my career for a long time before I before I found healing stuff that actually works. I had to school myself, and really was just doing healing work on myself. So I have this teacher I've been working with for about 3 years. Her name is Kieran Trace, and she kind of incorporated meditative, deep embodied healing traditions and sort of inquiry or therapeutic work where you question your thoughts. And so I went through a major transition a few years ago where I started to really extract a lot of deep beliefs that my own life was running from. And liberating myself from those, and starting to do embodiment practices where you learn to inhabit the body, bring awareness into the body. And it's really the body that heals in the end. It's not the mind. So everybody's always talking about mental health, and it kind of drives me crazy because the mind is just naturally insane. It's mostly a bunch of fear thoughts and
it's a whole bunch of things just going on for everybody. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we try to like fix that or control it or reframe or, stop our thoughts or have, affirmations or these kinds of things, and it drives everybody insane.
Yeah, like it's actual insanity, which is sort of like what's been flipped for me a little bit is that, like just sort of, it's like the admitting that the mind is insane already.
And it's not yours. It's not really personal.
Yeah, there's like a disidentification that happens when you come further into the body. Yeah. But so, I mean, with your background, and then when I was first seeing you as a patient, it just sort of evolved. Like I saw you maybe 4 or 5 sessions, something, and then I didn't see you for like a long time. And then I came back, and by that time you had like left your practice, started your own, and had gotten a divorce.
My whole life was totally different.
180.
Wow.
Wow.
I was like, all my clients, like I was just like, they were all going through these transformations. Right?
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
just a mirror. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way Embodied Together came about, which I can definitely speak accurately on, is that you use meditation in the sessions during periods of like, I don't know. I've like, we don't do it every session, but sometimes it comes up and we do it. And then you had started this online meditation thing on like this app called Zoom, which is like a video chat app. So then like she like put the word out, feelers out, like which patients would want to do this. We found like, 6 for the group that we meet once a month, online on a Friday. And we do like a little bit of inquiry, which is like the process of like just seeing what's here, and everyone sort of speaks a little bit on that, and then we do like a meditation. And I remember doing several of those, and it was around winter time, and I was getting really into guitar pedal board building. Nice. And so I'd like built this spaceship board that I really liked, and I was making like loops in the morning before I'd go to work, and they would always be like ambient loops. It would be stuff where I was just thinking about like that band Hammock. Are you familiar with Hammock at all?
No, see, this is why we need Jason.
This I swear to God, I walked right into that one because I knew that you're gonna say no.
Good luck with these bands. Yeah. God bless you for trying.
Hammock is like I would describe them. I mean, they're a 2-piece from Tennessee, I believe, and they've been banned for a long time, and they've put out so many records, and their style is just like the pull at your heartstrings kind of post rock, but it's not really like a heavy thing. It's super cinematic, and they'll like record whole children's choirs and record strings and all this stuff, and it's very like
everybody's crying.
Everyone's crying. Everybody's crying. So I was like, just trying this stuff out. And then I was like experimenting with recording my board straight into my computer. And so I made this like 17-minute loop or something like that. And I sent it to Meg. I don't know why I did this. I think I remember saying like, I don't know what this is. But like maybe you had mentioned something about doing music with meditation. Cause I don't know where I got that idea. I know that it exists, but like you weren't doing that.
I talked about like, and in my psyche, I don't know if I said it out loud, but for a year I had wanted to do something like a community meditation because it's so sweet to meditate together, and I just wanted it to be fun and effortless. And my whole my whole life, it's like I don't want to do anything unless it's effortless. So it was like, well, I'm not going to work on this. I'm just going to see what happens.
Right.
And I don't literally know if I even uttered anything to you, but I remember getting that text.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this could go with the community meditation.
Right. The one that we were doing online.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And this idea of like a larger group, like in the community somewhere.
Yeah. I think that started
that started my thing.
Your wheels
this sort of
turning.
latent idea then came to the forefront.
Because that was probably like January.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we did the first test run in March. So once we decided that like this is something we were going to try, like you came over, we had like a lavalier. We're doing it so much differently.
Yep.
And
Misha was on my lap, your dog.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
She farts in the first one.
Yeah, we actually
That's how you started. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it was so, dude. It was so funny, and I actually filmed it too. So like, I have a video of the whole thing at the very end, because the lavalier is here, and Misha is like on Megan's lap, and you know it's an omnidirectional thing.
Right.
So it's picking up the whole room. You just hear this like little like. Like into
awesome.
like it was like so quiet.
Right, yeah.
Like
That's so good.
but she groaned first. Like it was so funny. And then she like let it out. And I'm so surprised you didn't like break character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You kept it going.
I
That's
kept it
awesome.
going, yeah.
Very professional. Very good.
Yeah. So that was the first one we did just in my apartment. And then I don't know if we distributed that one yet. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. But I was learning as we went the power of music, really, and to help us access sensation, and that really the vibration of music is somatic, like you were saying about this band, and that I can use that as a meditative guide to bring awareness into the body, and sort of it's like you can listen and better feel your body when there's this rich music permeating it, actually.
Yeah.
So it becomes this really essential piece to bring awareness into the body and then into stillness or silence in between the notes. Which is what we do.
And that's the genesis, I think. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with the setup, you just bring a little combo board up, and then
Yeah, we have the laptop, which is running Logic.
Mhm.
I run like a 2-track stereo out of the board.
Is it all like just on the spot, like improv, or
Yeah,
do you
it
guys
is.
work something out?
No, it's gotten to the point where we don't need a rehearsal anymore.
Oh, cool.
Which we used to like rehearse to practice it.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're doing. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't come at them and be like, all right, today you gotta play mostly minor stuff. Today you gotta play major stuff. It's
No. I mean, the last one we did, I remember. Well, we always show up. We do it at Tide House, which is like connected to Shuba's, and they have like an upstairs loft that's like really beautiful and has all this crazy natural light. It's perfect location.
Nice.
And yeah, I remember the last time we show up like almost 2 hours before it starts,
just to get set up.
and we get set up, and then like we kind of like set ourselves up. So like she might walk into a different room, or like and then I'll sit there and try and figure out like, okay, what chords do I want to hear today?
Nice.
Because I think it in the spirit of it being an embodied thing, I'm not going to try and like figure it out. Like I'm not going to try to what's the best thing I could possibly play for everyone, because the second I do that, it's involving this mental effort that's just
Right,
not
you're gonna
it's
get
not
inside
even
yourself
needed
too hard,
actually.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like I can perform just as well without it.
Which is kind of the point of what we're doing, where
Yeah.
we trust the body, we trust the moment to lead us, and not do this sort of mental planning out ahead of time.
Yeah.
And so we really, I mean, I'm pretty mindless. Like I have just no idea. I basically just do the meditation.
Nice. Yeah,
And
so you're just like in the moment.
listen. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah, she says like it's like you're just reporting on what's going on with
Just
you,
reporting on what's going on. Yeah, exactly.
and then it just sort of translates out to the rest of the people to just follow it. Because like the voicing during the meditation, I think it's like that's the guide. I think when I try to describe this to people, I have to say like there is someone talking the entire time. Like there is a guide. You're not just listening to music and like trancing out or falling asleep or whatever. Like
Right.
you have someone sort of reminding you like where the cues are and that stuff, and it makes it really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the set,
That's so
and
cool.
so then the setup is just like her mic, my 2-track. We record the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we print it, and like everyone who attends meditation gets like a downloaded version, and
Oh, cool.
and then if we like it a lot, we like put it out on Bandcamp,
Oh yeah.
And
That's
and
awesome.
eventually it'll be like everywhere, like all the normal DSPs,
Cool.
and probably in a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
which
That's
is great.
awesome. And so, how many sessions have you guys done so far?
5.
5.
Yep,
Okay.
5.
5 live ones,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there are 6 meditations out right now.
Yeah, full so-called albums at like 45
Albums.
to 50 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they have a 20-minute like free one too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. And so, what's the future of it? Like, obviously, this has been a learning process for you guys, and it's like you said, it's changed from not that long ago from the beginning, and it's changing. Like, what? Anything else you guys gonna do differently and try something else, like add to it, or
No.
it's good to go.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's like with anything, I just want to like put it out for more people.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
I would love to like have this be done in a room of 100 people or something.
Yeah.
You
That'd be
know,
awesome.
like it would just work. So
Yeah, last time we had like 20 people in the room. That was great. It starts to be like a concert or something, like a shared
Right.
experience, and there's sort of a field effect that goes on.
yeah,
So
and
more
we'd have a
people-
discussion afterwards
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
And like this last discussion was easily the most lively one we've had so far.
yeah?
We had
Nice.
some people show up that we didn't know. I don't know how that happens. But she asked like, "Did you know those people?" And I'm like, "No, did you? No."
That's awesome. So it's getting out there. That's
It's getting
good.
somehow it's getting out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great. And we only ever just post it on like our Instagram and Facebook. Like it doesn't really go anywhere else. So I'm not really sure how people are tracking it. It's so hard to track that
Internet,
stuff.
man.
The internet, I know.
You Google anything and you can find something pretty quick.
I would love to, jump up the ranks and be the first thing people see when they type in the word meditation.
Hey, one day, who knows?
That's
Just keep
maybe
at
our
it.
next step. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know, being written like, yeah, the grandiose plan is sort of not like a concern.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just trusting our own sense of things and just following it along, and it's kind of growing on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And we just enjoy it. Like it's yeah. There's not really an agenda other than us
that's
just
great.
enjoying it.
That's, I mean, that's the point of, I think, should be of most things,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You should be enjoying
agendaless.
it. Yeah.
Just for the sake of itself. Yeah.
Yeah, like how much like brain power do you think you're using to like redo a kitchen?
Oh, at this point, not much actually, because I'm just so used to doing it.
Yep.
It's just a natural thing for me to, just
like you can
throw
use
tape up and mask off and
right.
sand
Like
and
you can
paint.
use the brain to like remember how to like read like the measuring tape and like where did you leave the where did you leave the tape, like what does a hammer look like, and like that's pretty much all it's good for.
Yeah, when I'm at work, it's a lot of like I'm always thinking about other stuff going on, like because I'm just so used to doing what I do at work that it's just a natural thing that I'm like,
Yep.
all right. And meanwhile, I'm thinking like, man, what am I gonna eat for lunch tomorrow? What are my cats up to right now? Like,
What are my cats
stuff
up
like
to?
that? Same thing with music. When I'm on stage, it's people, like ever ask you like, oh, what are you thinking about? I'm like, dude, the dumbest stuff. Like I'm just up there like, man, like what am I like? I gotta get up early tomorrow, and like, what do I gotta move? I gotta move that. I gotta like clean.
Are you
this. I was
thinking
like,
about things on
dude,
stage?
it's the
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I don't
I'm
share the
in
experience.
moment. I'm always like thinking about other stuff. I'm like, yeah, this riff's going fine. I'm like, what are we doing like later? I'm like, yeah, I'm the worst musician. Like,
Wow.
it's nobody should ever
You're
ask
not
about
the
these
worst
things.
musician. That's funny, man. Yeah, I've never had that experience. I think the most I've ever thought about is like, oh, I hit that patch wrong. Fuck. Now I have to like fix this. And it never works. Yeah.
I know the one of the last shows we did was it was in Ohio. It was in a bowling alley. We were literally playing on the lanes. And I remember just thinking constantly, like, man, this is so cool that we're just playing on a bowling alley. Like, it'd be awesome if I could like bowl right now. And like just going through the rest, it's like, man, look at that. That's cool. They got the bowling pins set up. And it's like, I wish they just like turn the machines on. Like, oh yeah,
Wow.
that's right. Next song. Here we go.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know how you do that. Cool though.
It's from doing it for so long, I guess.
Yeah, perhaps.
You know?
I feel like when I'm on stage, it is just, I feel like I want to connect with the audience and sort of like I feel really attached to the instrument. Like I feel very aware that I'm playing an instrument, and at the same time, like at least like with there'll be performances where I am not like totally present, and those are just the ones where they bomb. Like it's like it's not even that I haven't had enough rehearsal or something. It's just like I'm thinking about something or something is bothering me or whatever, or it just throws me off, and then or there's like a belief in like I should look like this on stage. I'm like, do this move, and then it's gonna and it like inevitably throws me like off kilter. Meghan's never seen me on stage, but it doesn't normally go that way.
It goes smooth every time I've seen you.
Yeah, but like I mean, the last meditation we did, it was like very, like I felt very embodied. Like I've done live meditations where I'm not, like I feel like I'm trying to, play the right thing, and it just doesn't go as well. And the last one we did, I wasn't trying, and it went brilliant.
Nice, yeah. See, you just let it go, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lesson in that for sure.
Yeah, because I find myself that if I think too hard about what I'm doing on stage, that's when I mess up. Yep. I start overthinking, like, what channel was that like patch on? Like, what was this? What was that? And if I don't think about it, and if I just let it go, I'm on autopilot basically, and it's great. Or I overthink riffs, I'm like, what's the next riff? Like I remember I biffed it in practice like last week. Am I gonna do it again? And then it's like if I just don't think about it and just kind of like go with the flow, usually ends up going pretty. And plus, most people don't, recognize those mistakes.
I felt like it can be a little like what's the word, like infectious. Like if like one person's overthinking it, the rest of the band starts to overthink it.
Well, like the worst thing you do, and Gobo is good for this, is to be like, don't mess up that part again. Why would you say that? Like, wasn't even thinking about that, dude, and now you brought it up.
Now I'm in my head.
Like, that's the worst thing you can do in your band.
In life,
that too, for sure.
In the moment, and the intelligence of the moment and the intelligence of the full body is vast. It's so much bigger. It's so vast compared to our little mind. Yeah, it just has a tiny little bandwidth.
So when is the next session?
October 18th.
Okay.
Right?
Nope, 13th.
13th. At 8 and the 3.
And is that the same place? What was
October 13th at Tide House.
Tide House, okay. And so you guys have been doing it there pretty regularly? Right?
That's the only place we do it at.
Okay.
Yeah. We also are for hire.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like we'll come to your house, or we'll come to your yoga retreat or whatever,
Open up for your band.
We'll open up for your band.
There you go.
We did put in we did put in a request to like open for Post Fest, which is in Indianapolis. Do you know about Post Fest?
Once again,
Outrun played last year. It was great, but it's like a post rock festival, and I was like,
cool.
If we had like a side stage that was like quiet. It's like the impossible thing to ask for.
That's definitely the trick of it, is to have a quiet place during a show.
You have to be very opening of the festival or something, bring everybody into their bodies.
But I think they were interested. It just there's like not the space for it.
Yeah, logistically it might be a little rough, but it's a great idea. I think that'd be really cool to do that for sure at a show.
Yeah,
that'd be really awesome.
It would be an interesting opener. It would be a really interesting opener. Like just walk everyone into silence and awareness, and then from there experience like a metal show. Yeah. That'd be kind of crazy,
they
actually.
Would sense the whole thing so much more.
That'd be
Hear
nuts.
every little detail.
Yeah.
Like zoom all the awareness.
Maybe we'll like do that with Outrun or something. That's kind of a cool idea.
That'd be really cool, yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. See, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
It starts to emerge.
Yeah. Little by little.
Yeah, but that's what we do with the meditation. We'll bring everybody into their bodies, bring everybody into silence, and then we ask everybody to stay there, like to not go up into their head or to like try to put on a happy face or like be smart or try. We just stay in the silence, and then we speak from there, and everybody just practices, speaking from their bodies instead of speaking from their head.
Nice.
And it's so possible, and it's really fun. It's so rich. And then nobody wants to leave. We just sort of like hang out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you said at the end there's like a bit of a like not quite a Q&A, but like
It's
a
a
discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what is it that you guys discuss like in those? Like, is it personal to the people or?
Yeah, we just let it kind of again emerge out of the moment. Most of the time, I'll just ask if people have questions or if they just have a share, And when we come into awareness and silence in our bodies, like cool things go on. There's a lot here.
Mhm.
There's a lot in the moment. So people will have visualizations and they'll have like whole releases in their body. So the body's the one that heals. So like I'll often have people be aware of the pain in their bodies and kind of breathe that pain out. So people will say like my heart opened up or my throat opened up or last time it was like my knee pain went away and my back pain went away or my headache
cool.
went away. And we're not trying to do that. We're just bringing awareness out of the head, which then decreases stress because stress is really this kind of resistance to the moment where you aren't here, right? There's this as this teacher I like named Byron Katie, she calls it, it's like the argument with reality, where we're sort of not here with ourselves. So when we come into the body, we're not like arguing with reality anymore. We're really here for even the pain in the body. So yeah, we have a lot of experiences like that. People will share, and then there'll be some questions about that, like what is that? Like why did my whole headache go away? And I'll kind of describe what goes on. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's so sweet. It's like, I mean, what's better than that,
Yeah, I don't know. The consensus is like, it's like once you're speaking from awareness and from the body, people start to realize how insane their life is and how everyone else around them has perpetuated this insanity. And like not in like the dangerous kind of way, but just in the disembodied kind of way where you just where you make up you make up a story about the perceived reality and then it's like 45 minutes of silence can actually change the perspective. I mean, you can add, and of course, like they have a ton of questions and it's things that I still have questions about, we're not like, it's like, and it's not like we're just these like walking around like healed people either. Like there's so much pain in our system.
Yeah.
We meet it daily, weekly, whatever. It just depends. So it's, I always like enjoy hearing how it kind of like blows people's worlds open a little bit about what their perception of what's possible is in their own lives.
Yeah.
Which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. And again, it's like, that's not what we're trying to do. Like their experience is just their experience. They're reporting on it. We would never be like, here's what's going to happen when you meditate.
You should be doing this.
You should be doing that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All those like,
don't want to be doing
all those
that.
weirdo belief system
Exactly.
nonsense.
That's awesome. I like that. It's a great message. Anybody should relate to that really. It's just like, be cool. Do what you gotta do. Live in the
Cool with
moment.
what's here.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that there's one, like saying that is a great message, but like what I struggled with and what like I get captivated by Meghan with is that like she's got tools for it. Not tools that she's created, but tools that she has developed with other people and learned them from other people and like put them into practice in her own life. And I think what makes her like an excellent therapist is her ability to share her own experience in session, outside of the session, like, and it doesn't have an agenda about fixing someone or making someone better or healing this one, healing the anxiety or healing the depression or whatever, all of it is, it's moment to moment. Like, yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Sort of lost my train of thought there, but, yeah.
So what got you into going down this path? Like, with helping people and everything like that?
Sure. Well, I was just always interested in, I guess really interested in just like truth, like what's the ultimate truth, and also humans, like who are we? Like we're really weird critters, and I don't really understand what's going on here. Like since I was a child, so I kind of like was interested in like philosophy and psychology, and never really spirituality and religion because I just couldn't quite get what was going on there. but like ultimate reality. I was like, does somebody know who we are and what this is? Like, cause I just couldn't, I literally was like, I'm like, does somebody have a manual? Is somebody in charge? What's going on Earth? Like, I couldn't get it. I still can't really, but it's still a mystery. But, so it brought me into psychology where there's some truths there. Like there's some truths about like analytic thought where like a lot of the unconscious belief systems we're walking around in come from childhood and come from our social setup and that kind of thing. And, that, our suffering comes from, this stressful thoughts and these kinds of things. But I couldn't, like, literally in psychology, there's such a little amount of actual healing that goes down. I just saw people in analysis for 10 years, 20 years. And so it was really like this, just a deep yearning for truth and for like something that actually works. And a love for humans, that like what would actually help me and what would help us. And so really it was like, yeah, like I said, like post-grad school, I started to find what's called inquiry, which is questioning your thoughts. So you take awareness and question thoughts, which gave me these glimpses into what Kieran might call the true nature or ultimate reality, which is just pure awareness, which is like how we're born. Like when you open your eyes in the beginning of, your life, there's no concept of a self there. There's no concept of right or wrong or good or bad.
Just kind of taking everything in.
Yeah, it's just pure awareness. Yeah. And the body's very functional. There's no operator in there. And then we start to kind of be taught that there's an operator inside the body called your separate self or your name, and that is so confusing and strange and not true. So then we get real confused for our rest of our lives. So Byron Katie's work helped me start to question self-thoughts and just thoughts in general, to whittle it down to just pure awareness. And so I had like in grad school and then post-grad school, I had these like, some might call them in spiritual traditions, like kind of like glimpse awakening moments where I would just have this just pure bliss where there was no thought and life was just operating itself just perfectly. But then I would come up against what remained an unconscious belief or like a trigger in my actual life with my husband or whatever. And I had, like, for instance, some of my latent, really deep things were like, basically the belief that only 100% of humans have, like, I'm not good enough. And that like I have to do everything and work hard, and I have to take care of everything. I came from a single mother, and I got all these sort of unconscious conditionings. So that would keep my life sort of operating in a way that wasn't actually in alignment to my being, let's say, to truth. So it was really on my own suffering. And then I guess this earnest desire for truth that's always been there, that I found the tool of inquiry first that gave me these glimpses into peace, real peace. And then the next wave of tools that got to these deeper beliefs that are for all of us stored in the body, came through doing embodiment practices starting several years ago now. And then I was like, oh, like it's an actual broken heart. Like there's actual pain in my heart. And that's why I'll have a second glass of wine, or I'll get really angry and freak out, with something with my husband, because I'm attempting to protect that wounding, going back to when we were children. So basically, like Austin was saying, I'm just learning how to heal myself and what actually works. And where does the healing go down? And it goes down in the body. So it was inquiry, embodiment, and then these stillness practices where you find your truest nature, which is silence, which is stillness, which is right here, you're soaking in it. And my teacher, Kieran Trace, really helped to bring all of those together. So as Austin was saying, I just use these tools on myself and they actually work, meaning I feel more embodied. I'm accessing silence all the time. My life moves from effortlessness and alignment. It doesn't move out of stress or I should, or a concept of a self as, I need to be smart. I need to be a good therapist, blah, blah, blah. Like those are just gone. I don't even know what that is. Rather, I'm moving from my heart, my being, my full body, which is a much more sane way to live. So, and then I help my clients do that, right? So they have layers, they have those same layers. They have the layer of I'm not good enough or whatever it is. And I can track, that's what I do all day, is I track what's going on in their life, what the underlying belief is, where that's stored in the body. And then we come into the body and we actually heal it in the heart, or in the pelvis, or in the head, or wherever it's stored all over the body. And that's an actual very physical thing. And so Austin and I do kind of like this kind of like kind of a milder version of it's a healing. Our meditation is a kind of a healing. So people have these sort of spontaneous healings. And then I'll share with them, like, there's this piece with inquiry, or these other ways to kind of get further down that path if you want. And then if people are willing, that's all it takes. It just takes a willingness to know the truth and a willingness to actually touch the wounding, which is really what so many of our fear thoughts are kind of driving us away from that. People are desperately afraid of sensation. They really think they'll be overwhelmed or die, or the pain is too much, etc.
I was terrified for 25 years.
Yeah.
For sure, terrified. Maybe 22 years, because I think the first 3 years are probably just fine.
Right. 3 years. 3-year-olds are so sane.
Yeah. We always talk about this, how like children and like animals are the most sane things on Earth.
Yeah, because they're not thinking about everything else that's going on.
Right.
You know? Like,
yeah.
It's funny because like my friends have kids and they crack me up because like the kids get a little out of hand. They're like, we're so sorry. I'm like, dude, he's a kid, man.
Right.
He doesn't care. He's fine. Let him do whatever he wants, man. I love it. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, we've brought this up so many times, but like Byron Katie's analysis of like her former sort of self, sort of bad word, but just before she sort of had her awakening, is that like when her children or grandchildren would like spill the milk, it would just be this immediate like, you shouldn't have done that. Yeah, and all this terrible
scolding.
And or just like, or even being like, I'm not good enough. I should have given them a better glass to hold.
Right.
There's a whole like, a whole storyline going on, whatever that was. But now that she's had this awakening and that she is in her practice. I mean, this woman is probably like in her 70s, I imagine. Not that matters, but it's like she watches her grandchildren now, and like when they spill the milk, it's like fascinating. It's like curious. It's like, oh, look how the milk runs on the table. And then there's no story about it, because you're gonna clean the milk up irregardless, and no one's gonna die.
Right.
And like, and
in reality, it's fine.
And in reality, it's fine. And maybe next time you give them a glass that they can hold.
Right.
Like,
just learn from that.
Like, and there's no storyline about it. It's not like I was a bad grandparent, like you were just a grandparent, maybe not even, you're just a person around children. And it's funny how like I mean, honestly, like as a young person in this stuff, most of the stories I hear from people who are like Meghan's age or older, and I struggle sometimes to like have connections where I'm having these aha moments around people my age. I have one friend, Cody Packer, who's like sort of somehow walked this path with me, just again through total effortlessness and like curiosity and willingness. It's like everything. It's all that. It's like if you're not willing, this shit doesn't work. Like,
right,
for sure. And you also shouldn't be willing. Don't force yourself into willingness.
You can't fake willingness.
You can't fake willingness.
No.
And like I'm not going to be able to. I can't explain to you why the reality is better than the delusion. Like if you're not curious, and you don't want to find out for yourself, then that's totally fine. Like in your own time. Right.
You get there. You get there.
Yeah, you get there.
And really, like as Kieran will say, suffering is the best teacher on the planet.
Yeah.
That'll do it. It's like there's an old Zen saying where they'll like bow to each other and say, I wish you suffering sooner.
I like that. That's
they know
good.
that suffering teaches.
No, it's so good.
Yeah.
And and I feel like there's such
from it.
like I would have taken such offense to that like even 2 years ago.
Right.
Fuck you. I don't want to suffer.
Whoa, what the hell's that all about?
Yeah. And it's so funny though, because I mean, God, dude, like the way Western culture runs its programming is so like, now it's just, I can look at it and go, that's just so fucking strange. And weird and terrifying, and it's like I've had moments of it feeling just totally hopeless about it, just like where there's so much being held on identity. Identity is everything. It's just not true.
Yeah,
that's
willing
like
to drop your identity.
Yeah.
And go for reality in this moment, just in this moment.
Yeah, just in this moment. Yeah, because I think normally it'd be like, oh, if I drop identity now, like what's that going to look like in 10 years or whatever. It's like, well, that's not the point, just what about right now? Like, what does that look like? It's like, if you weren't your thoughts. I always like that hand, exercise that Kieran does.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, I'll do it. It's I mean, this is like her lesson in awareness. Cause I also wanted to like be clear on like what awareness is. Cause awareness is not thought.
No. It's not mental awareness. It's the awareness of thought.
Yeah. So it's like, if you look at your hand, you can do this too if you want.
Everybody can do it.
We ever look at it and we look at our hand and then we go, are you the hand or are you the awareness of the hand? If you had to pick one.
Huh. I would say it feels more like I'm the hand. Like,
feels like you're the hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can see the hand and like there's an objectivity and it's attached to your body.
How about the wall?
That's a better one.
Look at the wall. Just look at the wall in front of you. She does it. And then there's an awareness of the wall. Yeah. So again, if you had to pick one, are you the wall or are you the awareness of the wall?
See, I would go awareness on that one.
Yeah. Right. Right. Good. But now do the hand. Right. There was a wall, which was an object, and there's a hand here, which is an object, and there's a subjectivity that sees the object that's always there. The awareness is still there, yeah? And the awareness is even there when you're sleeping. It's the thing that's always here.
It's always there.
It's always
So
here.
if you had to pick one.
Of the hand?
The hand and the awareness, yeah.
I still feel like I'm the hand. Like, it's just, maybe because of work, I guess, and the music and everything.
So identified with your hands.
So it's always like, my hands are very important to me.
Let's say we chopped off your hands.
Ugh, don't. I need these.
This guy, Greg Good, does this exercise. So if it's like, the question is, this is a very ancient question. There's an ancient question of who am I? And then there's an ancient question of where am I? And he does this thing where he says, okay, where are you? Right? So if we chopped off your arms, are you still there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And your legs?
Still there, yeah.
Yeah. And then like, let's say your ears and like the side of your head.
All right,
and
still
your
there.
shoulders. Yeah.
Getting whittled me down here.
Yes.
Like a stump.
Like a stump, right? Yeah, exactly. And so what people usually tend to say is like, at some point, like, I'm somewhere in the middle of my head.
Okay.
Right. Which is like, wait, where exactly? Because when we open up the brain, we don't see a little homunculus of you.
Right.
Right.
I love that so much.
I wish. That'd be great. I have a little mini guy.
But
in
that's
there.
the implication, right? It's like, well, I did this. I moved my hand. But who's the I moving the hand? And where is it or he, right? And so it gets a little fishy, like where am I? And we start to back it all the way up, all the way up, and all the way up. And the thing that's always remaining is this awareness. Awareness has been the background of your whole life. There's always been awareness of thought, awareness of your hand, awareness of the wall. And it's there. It's actually, I'm going to go ahead and just say it. That's your immortal self with a capital S. It doesn't actually ever go anywhere. It's your truest nature. And it's very spacious and effortless. And it was looking out of your eyes when you were born. It's looking out of your eyes right now. And then superimposed onto that awareness is a very compelling thought of a homunculus, of a separate self in there running the show. That's identified with like hands. But we just did an inquiry where we could see like, well, wait a minute. It doesn't quite work, So what if that whole separate self concept of a separate being in here isn't real? And if you dropped it, you become, right, like when you were a little baby again, so fresh, so naturally curious, so embodied. And we think we need it. We think we need our identity. Like my hands are my identity,
right.
Or like this is who I am. Like I'm the smart one, or I'm the
guitarist of Outrun The Sunlight.
Right.
Yeah,
Story.
I'm the therapist. I'm gonna help people. Like all of it.
And we think that's what kept us safe because that seemingly kept us attached when we were young. So it was like, well, I did things with my hands. I got attention. and I got love. And that your survival mechanism says, well, so you need to keep doing that. And that's who you are. That was a whole storyline. It never actually has been true. Meanwhile, you've been fine the whole time. So as Byron Katie says, who would you be without your story? That's the main inquiry.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more like, if like, it's not that you're unsafe doing woodworking, and the storyline behind it, whether or not you had it, it's still just like something you wanted to do, so you just did it. Right. Sometimes though we discover that the thing we've been doing for 30 years is not at all what we wanted to be doing. And it's so, it's crazy to sort of hear those stories, because they exist all the time when you live in cultures like ours who perpetuate identity and class and the right way to be and all this stuff. We're just desperately trying to.
The should be this, should be that.
Yeah,
the desperation to just be the thing that that you think will make you happy or make other people happy or whatever. It's
society has told you is going to bring you success and fulfillment.
And it's got to be pretty tough now. I mean, long ago, before internet and all that, I'm sure it was difficult, but now with the internet, it's got to be so difficult, just because it's so easy to go on your phone and be like, look what this person's doing. How come I'm not doing that? You know? And like, I hear a lot of my friends talk like that. And even Jason was dating a girl that was constantly like looking at her phone on Instagram and was like, I can't believe, like, look at this girl, like, she's doing this, she's doing that. Like, how come I'm not doing that? And goes, why do you care? He's like, it's not your life. And plus they're putting this up there. Like, there's probably horrible stuff going on and they're not showing that, It's like, they're living a life too,
Yes.
And there's a lot of heartbreak, but it's like
rough nowadays.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah. And then like, I just think about the tools that those people like may or may not have to actually walk themselves out of that delusion, because I didn't have them. Like, I've totally 1000% been there, where it's like, look at all this stuff going on Instagram. Like, why can't my life be like this? It's like
the story versus the reality.
Yeah. And it's like, so deeply wanting to come into the reality and witnessing and being present for everything that's here, including all of the resentment and all of the heartbreak and all of the frustration and the anger. Yeah. It's not just like bliss, happiness.
Yeah. Life's not perfect. Yeah.
No, it's not, but it also kind of is, because like,
it's perfect as it is.
It's perfect as it is.
It had a better reputation.
Right.
Yeah. It had a better reputation. Right. It's like dogs experience like pain the same way that human beings do. The difference is there's no story. But like, my dog Misha, like, can get, like, I can tell when she's like, I'm not having whatever's happening right now. Like, I just want to, she curls in the ball on the couch when she wants to curl in the ball on the couch. Like, she's just going to go do that.
Right.
No one's going to tell her to stop and that she's like a bad dog, which sort of actually rewired some of how I even train her. It's like she's running the same body program that we have, just without the mental storyline of it.
And we're creatures too, right? We're animals, we're mammals. So like, and so if we are compelled and captivated by the Instagram story and our story, right? Like, how's my story looking, right?
Yeah.
It's so disembodied, and it's really neglectful of our actual body. So it sounds like for you, it's like your body actually enjoys woodworking, right? But it's actually, you enjoy it even more if you don't have an identity around it. If it doesn't have all of this meaning attached to it.
Right, if it doesn't make you.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need approval and attention. Like, it's just for the sake of itself, as we were saying earlier. And your hands just enjoy doing it. Yeah. And the just natural satisfaction, which is like 3-year-olds on the beach, right? Like, it's not, we're not like gonna get a gold star for the sandcastle. It's just enjoying it. Right,
just doing it to do
And some
it,
kids are making sandcastles. Some kids are talking to other kids. Some kids are playing with dolls. Some are running around, meaning like our inside our bodies are our very natural proclivities, and they're perfect and they're really wise. We don't need the storyline wrapped around them, which, we've been so taught we do. We need to like manipulate ourselves and be better, which is all built on basically the idea that we're not good enough, right? Which is your friend's girlfriend's, like that's what's actually going on, is a deep heart wound there that says she's not good enough. And if she did this, and this, then she would be good enough. But of course, we all know, like, if you even do that, and that, it may literally have nothing to do with what your actual body wants to do.
Probably have no bearing, really.
It has no bearing. It's not even true. It was like, Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was an illusion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard because it's like, I felt the need before. It's just when I starting on this, I was like, I want to, share this to everyone. I want to get everyone on board. Like, this feels like something that I want to really make an effort to like share, but it's like, it just in the effort itself is like, is the loss of like authenticity. And it's like when I hear stories about like the girlfriend, or like I've had multiple conversations nowadays where, like I hear the heart wound in it, and I'm not saying that like, like I'm not gonna be friends with everyone. In fact, I'm gonna be friends with almost no one in the grand scheme of humanity. I have the people that I surround myself with, and I either connect with them deeply on 100% level, or there's like, there's like a percentage to it a little bit. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, it's like, it doesn't make her this bad or awful or like even self-indulgent person. I mean, there's all those mental labels, right? You just like, there just is a heartbreak there. And it's like, if she was willing to meet it, and if all of us were willing to meet it, like what would society look like then? That's
a real liberated populace right there.
Yeah. Imagine if we were just like kids on a playground just going like, I'm going to play with this person and I'm not going to play with that person, and it's just fine.
And there's no meaning around it whatsoever.
Totally cool.
Yeah. There's no should. Yeah.
Right.
And there's no should. And there's no parent going like, you got to play with this kid because he's lonely.
Right.
Like right there, that one phrase has so many belief systems in it, and that are so painful and not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. P.S. Like with the girlfriend, like that's me too. You know what I mean? Where I fall for a story once a day, of like, it looks good. It seems like mentally what I would want, but I haven't checked into whether it's actually true in my body.
Right.
And that's why we do our meditation and everything.
Yeah.
To practice listening to the actual being here.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
And not society's concepts of happiness.
Yeah. Society, man.
It's rough.
Fully crazy.
It's rough. Fully crazy.
Right, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, media probably plays such a big role because like everything is a front that you see, like, like in every angle of it.
And I feel like I had a storyline for a long time. Like if I don't like stay up to date in the media, or I'm not somehow, listening or whatever. And if I can't have an intelligent conversation about what's happening somewhere else, like this makes me like a stupid person, or like I'm somehow not contributing my part to the grandioseness of society, or whatever the fuck storyline like I have. It just like turns out that I'm actually just not interested.
Right. And that's totally fine. Yeah.
It's like,
it's just what's true.
It's just what's true.
I get your interest if I tried.
And it's like, I've like, please tell me, like, I'm not, please tell me, but like, it's just, I could just imagine people listening to this and going like, fuck you, which is fine.
Which is fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, which is fine.
Although
like, you're the problem. It's like, no, like that's not true.
Right. Yeah.
It's like actually not true.
Keep your projections to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over here and enjoy my life.
You not keeping up with the political climate is not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Or anything. But it's like even true movements come in through like political action, or like, or like being vegan, or being very like outspoken about like women's rights. Like all of that can come from a place of truth. It's not just like people shouldn't be going around like saying that shit or thinking or feeling or whatever. It's like, but it's like, is it fucking authentic for you? Because that's how that's how people are gonna hear you. People are actually like way more intelligent than we give them credit for. Like they can sense an authenticity.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So it's like, like what's authentic to me is absolutely different than what's authentic to you, and different than what's authentic to you. And so if I can't speak from truth, there's no point in mouthing off something to just
trying to bullshit your way through it.
Yeah, just to be seen as some higher, in some higher regard.
Well, it's having humility too, just admitting like, hey, I'm not into this thing.
Yeah.
But that's like you.
Sorry.
I mean, it's like you. It's like you invited us to this. It's like, you've never done embodied meditation? Like maybe you have. I shouldn't have assumed. But it's like you're. I have no doubt you're learning something right now, and it's like that's why you do the podcast, right?
Yeah, I mean that's 100% why we do this, is just to have different people come in and different perspectives on things, and I think that's more enjoyable. Like at least for me, like that's why I do this, because I like doing this. And sure, sometimes we talk about music and then we go down that path, but I do like to talk about anything really. And that's kind of like how I am in outside of this too. Like if I'm at a bar and I'm talking to people I've never met before, I want to know, like, what are you into? What do you do? Like, what's this? What's that? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? I love learning new stuff about other people. I might not 100% be into it, but I like to hear.
And God, you shouldn't. Like,
right? Yeah. I mean, sometimes people come up with stuff where I'm like, that sounds amazing. Totally. Like, I want to know about it.
Yeah,
for sure. And but yeah, that's why I love doing this. It's like I do have this opportunity to bring people in and just talk about different things, and hopefully people listening and watching get into it as well. Like maybe they never knew something about like whatever our guests are talking about, and go down that path and check it out. And
what was like
positive with it.
Can you any like highlights from stuff that you've had on that isn't music related? Because I've listened to this so many times, and you always end up talking about music.
We get
most of the time
sidetracked so much into music.
So like you've had guests on that are probably like us, right? Who just are not. We're kind of in the music world, but I mean, we're not talking about that. Like, who have you had on?
Well, most recently it was a lot of fun, and I've been trying to do it for so long. It was my friend Meghan came on, and so I call her a civilian. Well, anybody that's not a musician, they're a civilian. And so she was like one of like 3 civilians we've ever had on the show. Like all my friends are musicians, so of course, when they come in, we always talk about that. But no, she was a lot of fun because we actually met through online dating. And when talking about it, she would tell me all these crazy stories of like people that she met through online dating. I'm like, you have to come on the show and you have to talk about this because people need to hear these stories because they're absurd. Like to me, like I was like, I can't believe people say these things to you, send these things to you. Like to a degree, I could believe it, but to actually see like what has like been said to her and like what has happened to her in the past with these like online dating things is like. People need to hear about this, like men and women need to hear about this.
I literally had the same exact experience. I matched with Ray on Tinder from
awesome
from Immortal Bird.
Yeah.
And we just got to talking, and then this exact thing came up where she was like, I think at one point she said like, "Thanks for not being a total dickhead," and I was like, I actually don't know what you're talking about. And she's
exactly.
Like,
that's how I feel.
She's like,
too.
Wait, you don't know? And I'm like, yeah. And then she's like sending me these Instagram pages that are basically dedicated to like taking screenshots of just fuck all Tinder interactions with some weird ass dude and some girl.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's always like, it just blew my fucking canister open.
Absurd world.
I
mean, like I said, I always knew like there's definitely some like inappropriateness going on there, but man, to see it, like really see it is just, it's pretty eye opening. And like I said, it was nice to do an episode like that. Just like you said, you're like, I had no idea like it was that fucking bad. And like, I didn't either. And I'm like, man, so if I'm feeling like that, I'm sure there's plenty other people out there that feel like that too. They're like, have no idea just the scope of like how bad people can be.
Public service.
But it all worked out. She met a dude and she's going to get married and it's great, So it didn't scare her away, which is good,
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I think the women do really hold the power in those apps for sure. There's also like a third of them compared to men.
Oh, I know.
It's like the discrepancy is huge, and then you get it's like the likelihood of a weirdo just goes up.
Because like, on the other side was a guy. Like, I'm like, I don't get anything. At worst, I get bad conversations.
Yeah, for sure. You're like, oh, this is not a fit.
Yeah, this is like going nowhere. Like this conversation is terrible.
Yep.
All right, doesn't bother me. Move on. It's not some disgusting, horrible thing being said to me where I'm like, Jesus, I need a restraining order now. Like,
I think it's like true disembodiment.
Yeah.
I just don't know what could compel anybody to say something like that.
You have a pretty good
that's crazy
Tinder story.
I have a few.
You have a few.
Which one are you thinking?
I'm thinking about Brunch Guy.
Oh, Brunch Guy. It was the very first guy. Yeah, I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I just walked into just a total. He was just a patronizing dick.
Like, what the fuck?
But
I think
it was good for me. I learned a bunch of boundaries. I basically learned like, do not pass go. Like, if it isn't absolutely fun and delicious for me, forget it. Like,
just get out of there.
No compromise. And I think in my House of Romance,
I realized that the same
Yeah.
thing too,
Yeah.
actually, on just a different level. Just going out with a girl who, like, I realized, like, I shouldn't have ever gone out with her in the first place. I had no fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
And it's like,
Right.
and then it's like, it's like the storyline of, oh, I'll just try it.
right. We'll try. Exactly.
You actually know. I actually
know.
knew in that moment before I went on the date.
You know, exactly. You can feel it. It's
You
like
can feel it.
It's a sniff test. It's like, no way. But we are so conditioned to not listen to ourselves, to our actual being, and to compromise and try. And that
whole
there's like
jump in the
value in
pool.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, well, you just compromise a little bit, or like it just, put a little effort in. And it's like, if anybody checks it out, that's never actually served you. It's
Yeah, it
always
just
been
kind of chips away at you.
yeah, it's not worth if you walk down that path of compromise, it's just more compromise. Versus if you walk from truth, it's a completely different thing. So since that dude, although I just face planted again because I totally fell.
But it's totally okay.
It was totally okay, and it was a huge lesson. It was really,
That's a
really
huge
good.
lesson. Yeah.
But I fell for like a really juicy story, to go back to story, right? Of like, oh my God, like super lover romance, like it was just like, it like checked all the boxes of Meg's fantasy since she was 13, so I totally fell for it. But meanwhile, if I had checked my body, right, like I was not sleeping, it was not great, like it was like the stories, it's so good. Not good.
Right.
So we've, it's so innocent how we fall for these stories, and romance stories might be, they're like,
Right.
might be number one for like compelling stories.
Yeah, I mean, that was it was a whole reason I even went to in the first place, was like, it was like a romance story. Like, I don't want to be a bad boyfriend. How do I fix this?
Right. I'm
like,
going to fix it. Right.
I'm going to fix it. I'm going to be a better
Work
boyfriend.
on this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No effortlessness.
But it was so, but yeah, it's like, it's so, I mean, the transformation there has, been years in the making, literally. And now it's like, and it was such a slow walk.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, it was the speed it needed to be. You can't just come out of a storyline in like an instant.
So many layers.
It happens sometimes. People have like crazy ass awakenings, which I've never had. I don't know what that's like, but I definitely know that they're true.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you're not gonna feel pain again. It's
right. Yeah.
And if anything, you're gonna feel it deeper.
Yes.
Yeah. If anything, it's gonna be deeper.
This guy Ken Wilber, who I have mixed feelings about Ken, God bless him, but he has a good one-liner, which is that as you heal and awaken from your thoughts, that everything hurts more, but it bothers you less.
Okay.
I've discovered that actually to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
oh my God, this is so heartbreaking. I hate everything. It's so much, much pain, but it's okay.
But it's so funny because it's
You're
like,
still here.
it's just the acknowledgement and the release and like the off
non-resistance
gassing
to it.
of the pain is like, that's it.
Yep.
Like, yeah,
So
it's so
simple.
funny how my life has shifted in that direction where it's like,
Yeah, you're not afraid of pain anymore.
I'm not afraid of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's holding on to that stuff is never too good.
No.
I told a story recently where this girl that I knew, she ended up moving, and like we kind of had a thing, and it was going all right, but then she was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving," and I was like, "That's cool," and she ended up going out with this huge apology to me, like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Dude, it's fine. Like, it's totally cool. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I'm a little bummed out for sure. I'm human, but." I was like, it's cool. You don't have to apologize this much. It's fine. Like, I get it. Like, we kind of knew this was going to happen. And I'm not mad at you in the slightest.
Yeah. And like,
I thought it was
it's
so
like,
weird that she felt so bad about it. I'm like, no. It's cool. It's fine. You're totally fine.
like, have your parents ever said something to you like, I just don't want you to get hurt. Like I want the best for you. I don't want you to get hurt. It's like, that is such an insane line.
Right.
And it's like, and fucking bless them. They have, it's obviously all love, but it's love from a place of just fear. Yeah, totally. So it's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to get hurt. Cause it's fucking great.
Right.
Cause it's like, yeah. And the second you meet it, it has a way of dissolving, and there'll just be more down the road. Or whatever. So, or whatever. What a great way to end that.
Very poignant. I like it.
This is like dude culture coming out of me.
Right.
It's so funny, man. We have this conversation all the time, just like metalheads are the sweetest people on earth. And we're trying to decide if Megan's in the tribe or if we're in her tribe.
It's like a Venn diagram. There you go. Yeah.
But you're like in a death metal band, which you've never seen a death metal show, have you?
No.
Yeah.
You're not missing much. It's fine.
That's not true.
A lot of guys that look like me just swinging their heads like idiots. It's not that great.
Yeah, and it's funny because the exposure thing has been like a different. It's like I exposed her to this, she exposed me to that. It's a funny back and forth. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah, but I find that metal dudes are like the sweetest people on earth. Like I went to Arctangent recently.
Yeah, I saw the videos. Really, really cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was a phenomenal time. Nicest people in the world. Everyone there. Not one person. I mean, I didn't witness anyone giving anyone trouble. I wasn't like, oh, look, there's a fight over there. I didn't see like, oh, that person's passed out from, they took too much Molly.
Right,
like no one. It was just so much love. It was crazy.
Awesome.
I mean, mostly men, maybe like 30% women, but just love for the genre. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
We've talked about like, why might that be? Why is it, metal guys are so great? And I think it is. I think it's this embrace of pain and rage, which culturally we banish, and if you embrace the range of our being, you embrace everything else, right? Like your heart is more open, you're more embodied, you're more present for life. So to me, it seems like, rage, welcome, thrashing your head around, welcome.
Get that out.
Like how many of us were suppressed a tantrum when we were kids, and it's just so fucking nice to finally allow the fullness of our expression,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and there's so many stories too, just about the cathartic experience of listening to a metal band on a stage. It's like that is not an uncommon story. Like it's almost like across the board. Why, I think people like want to see live music, but want to see like loud live music. And if they can move their bodies while they're doing it, it's just adds different level of like embodiment, which would be so crazy to do a meditation before a metal show.
I think it'd be great.
It'd be awesome.
And then like people could just sort of sense how to utilize the music to like literally have it like penetrate their bones, and like shake out some of that old condensed energy, Yeah. I mean, you're already doing that, but we would just like open the door a little bit more and walk awareness into it.
Does Cynic do this?
What?
Like meditation before their shows? Do you know about this at all? I mean, I know Paul Masvidal is like, he's like a spiritual guy, which I'm not like, so, I'm not in the spiritual realm whatsoever. But like, I've seen videos where he'll like have the audience do yoga, and I can't tell if it's a gimmicky thing or whatever, but like,
I've heard about that, but
it just seems like he would have tried to do this,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would think so. I don't know if he has. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But yeah, I remember hearing stories about that, like how they did stuff like that for sure.
But even with like Tool, like, Alex Gray being the main artist behind that band, I mean, the whole thing is just like, again, there's like probably a tinge of spirituality to it, but it's all about the body and higher consciousness or whatever. But really, it's like, I mean, a lot of Tool's music, like I now hear the lyrics, or at least I'm interpreting them as being a lot about embodiment, which maybe it's not true, but I don't know. I kind of hear it. It's my interpretation. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just so great to incorporate more music. The spiritual world mostly misses the body. Yes, there's a little bit of yoga, and you work with your energy body, and you can blah blah blah. And it's great. But like awakening, just waking up the mind doesn't really wake up the body, and you can actually sense your true nature, which is oneness actually. And music is so helpful to do that, to really just sense through the body. This guy, Locke Kelly, calls it waking up, waking in, so feeling into the body, and then waking out, which is opening the body. And so that's how we utilize the music. Like that's what I will say to people is like, feel the tones entering your pelvic bones, like coming into your hip joints, right? And then feel how that's opening them up, and to have rich music is like, it's like getting this bath of sensation, and then you open it up. You like let the music literally open your body up. And so then you sense through the body like the actual transcendence, your actual connection to everything. Because, you know, the physicists tell us it's very, very clear everything's connected. It's all basically 99.9999% space. Like we're just made of space and light.
Right.
But you can actually sense
Like
that
we're
as
floating
awareness
on the
yourself.
chair, technically.
Yeah, where
Right,
there's
you
no
never-
actual separation.
right,
There's
yeah.
no nothing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing ever touches. There's no actual substance.
the
right?
sensation
Which
is just
just looks
it's
like
just
one.
energy transfer.
But you can actually sense that as awareness. It's a real thing versus a concept or a theory or a transcendent moment. It can actually be your day-to-day experience. And so I just can't, I just think it's like an endless amount of ways that music, and maybe even especially metal music, can help
Perhaps.
with that. It just has that richness that really helps.
Yeah, I like that word, richness. And like all of our meditations are always like, again, it's like a report on what's already sort of happening, and then it's a walk to silence. So like the music will dip out, and then you will be in silence for 10, 15 minutes, you know? And it's the best way to notice silence, to have the perspective of,
Right, having it from up here and then bring it down.
Yeah, exactly.
and everything, you know, everything comes out of silence and then returns to it. It's like that one little thing is just, that, like you always use silence permeates everything. It's just true. It's like,
Yeah, it's right here.
it's like, this isn't this is not noisy. Like it might seem like it is, but like it didn't come from noise. It came from silence.
Nothing's got, it's got nothing on silence. Silence is the biggest thing here.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like nourishing. And like,
Yeah.
I also think that's another great way to
That's all
describe it.
Kieran's words, nourishing. It's such a resource, silence. Pure resource.
Yep.
We're soaking in it.
You would have appreciated our Pittsburgh show where the front of house guy forgot to put the music on, so it was complete silence in between bands. It was,
Great show.
it was. I think at one point I said to Gobo, I was like, "Nobody make a noise. I want to hear the pin drop." I was like, "Gee." I like look back, and the kid was like nowhere to be found, and he did it between every band. As soon as they were done, it was just complete silence, and it was a small room.
I have
not
sort
a lot
of
of people. and I was
a
like,
respect
"Oh,
for
boy."
that, but at the same time, it's
intense
awkward
silence.
and not super fun.
It's violently awkward.
What I don't get is like playing more metal music between bands.
That bums me out. That really does bum
Like,
me out.
play
It's like, enough is enough.
Almost
Like,
anything. I'll play almost anything else,
Right.
but don't put more metal on.
Play music for all I care. Like, I don't want to hear more metal in between metal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do. We sort of walk people slowly into silence. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a slow.
not an
it's a-
abrupt.
it's a
yeah,
slow
that's much
burn.
better.
Bit of a
Yeah.
jolt.
The Strymon Big Sky is really helpful for that.
Oh, for
I will
sure. Yeah,
100%
yeah.
plug Strymon. That is my main pedal for this thing.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yep. Just looping delays and reverbs. What more do you want?
What more do you need?
What more do you need? For this kind of thing, at least. Yeah.
So what is, since we do talk about music, what is your choice of music since we're here?
Oh my God. Well, I wore my one concert t-shirt that I have.
Oh,
I just recently
nice.
got the Smashing Pumpkins.
You were like fifth row.
I was first row.
First row.
Yeah. So
How'd that happen again?
my friend and I were just sitting in the back. We were sitting.
We
in,
never even talked about this,
I know,
actually.
it's kind of crazy. I get
I
these
just got a
like,
text.
fun little cool things that happen sometimes. I swear, if you move from effortless, like things just keep being effortless, and you get handed front row tickets in the middle of a fucking show. Yeah, we were
awesome.
watching the opener. My friend and I, who were both big fans, you know, and like it was like our 1997 dreams, and so we were just sitting in this back row, finishing up the opening band, and these people just walked literally right up to us, like they beeline to us. It was a little frightening, and they were just a couple, and they said, "Would you like front row center tickets? We're leaving," and we're like, "Wait, what?" And we look at the tickets. It's exactly what it is.
Wait, they were leaving.
They were
were
leaving.
leaving?
They don't give it. They're just like, "We gotta go." And I was like, "You gotta go," and.
That's
Sure.
crazy.
It was crazy.
All
It was
right.
absolutely crazy. So we were literally the best seats in the house. We were 5 feet from Billy Corgan in the middle of the stage, standing
That's
there.
awesome.
Yeah. And it was also just this beautiful.
That's unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. So yeah, and it was just, and they were just my favorite back in the day. And I'll just every so often, and I always thought of their music, felt that their music was really healing. Like it was as if like like that syrupy guitar would just like get in there, and I would just feel better. So I still will listen to Smashing Pumpkins, but Austin's getting me into some progressive metal.
Oh, all right.
I like
There you
his
go.
band the most.
Nice.
I'm totally prejudiced, but they are amazing. And you got a new album coming out soon.
I don't know when.
You don't know when?
We're making it slowly but surely.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's written.
Nice.
That's for
Yeah.
sure. But it's, the matter of learning the songs, recording them. The workflow's changed drastically. So
Has it?
yeah, it's good though. It's like all the drums, we're going to do them in Audio Tree,
Nice.
and then everyone's going to track themselves in their homes. We have a synth player now as well. So we're doing some of that.
Cool.
Yeah, he's quite brilliant. He writes code for synthesizers. He's going back to school to learn about AI in sort of a protective way. Like he wants to sort of understand it so that he can maybe help prevent its like invasion, its super invasion to all of our
So
lives.
Skynet doesn't happen as soon as
So
possible.
Skynet doesn't happen. So, and he's doing quite a bit of crazy creations for Outrun's new album.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's just rehearsing right now and learning it all, and then we'll send it back to Rick at Audio Tree, and he'll mix it. Yeah,
Cool.
it's gonna be wicked.
But you don't have a date set for that yet?
No, not even close. But that's great. It's like
At least next year?
yeah, probably
Okay.
next year.
Okay, good.
I would like it to be next year.
You'll probably beat Roman Ring before
Really?
really.
Roman Reigns, his band.
And we are horrendously bad about releasing music. It's our MO, I guess. I don't know. The album's been done for 2 years now, I think.
Oh my God, it's been that long.
I don't know. It might even be longer. The concept of
Do you
time
still
is really
like
weird
it?
for it. No. No, I do. I haven't listened to it in a while.
Okay.
But I remember the last time I listened to it, I really did.
Wait, so is it
enjoy
done, or is
It's
it
done.
written?
It's like the EP that we did with Paul.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how long ago
I don't
that was.
understand. I actually don't understand.
We
You
are
just don't like it.
morons. No. I do
You're not
like it. I do.
morons.
I
Are you
do like it
morons?
a lot. We're idiots.
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
I mean, you've met Jason. You've met the rest
Poor
of
guy.
us.
He's not even here to defend
But,
himself.
yeah, that's okay.
No,
Fuck
y'all
him.
are
That's what he did.
sweethearts. I just, I mean, you can just upload it to Bandcamp. Like, what do you need to what do you need to do?
Well, there was talks of trying to potentially get a label to release it.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's
And give away your money?
yeah, right. And nobody's biting. And I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty over the plate technical metal band. Like, I don't know, guys, we're not doing anything groundbreaking here. So I can understand why labels aren't gonna be like, we want to release this.
Right.
So I'm just telling them, I was like, let's just drop it. Let's just drop the album. Let's just do it. Get it out there.
Yeah, whatever is
please.
the truest for sure.
Right.
Do
and,
that.
And it's funny because like everybody keeps coming up to me and so you guys gonna release that album, the EP yet? Huh?
Can't believe it's done.
Ah,
I
no.
actually didn't realize it was done. I thought it was just like what I'm doing, which is written. The demos exist.
No,
but
it's
just
been mastered. Like we have
Whoa.
artwork. It's all ready to go.
you have artwork.
Yeah. From what I remembered, I think it looked cool.
Must not be true.
I can't remember.
yeah,
That's
must-
all Jason's department though.
for sure.
I just show up and play and bring the van. That's what I do.
Damn. Damn.
But yeah, no, we're just moving slowly just because everybody else in the band is in separate bands and we all released something in some form. And
Yeah.
it's all been going pretty well for everybody. So it's kind of like, all right, spotlight's on that. Let it run its course. And then
Yeah.
maybe after that kind of dies down,
Is Danny still doing Through the Eyes of the Dead?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
that everyone literally does have another band. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody is. And we all released something this year,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like, what are the odds of that?
Yeah. Except Roman Ring. Just drop it on like Christmas.
Yeah, right? Let's just do it.
Christmas album.
It'd be great. Like I said, I didn't even listen to the album so long, but I do remember liking the way it's. I mean, Paul did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
and,
Paul's the man.
and Rollin mastered it. I don't know if you know Rollin.
I don't.
He worked with Paul at
Ivy?
Ivy. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Really nice dude. Really good at what he does. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Everybody that worked on it did a great job, and it's unfortunate that we haven't released it so people can hear it. I think Paul's already done multiple projects already, and everybody I know is like all released
yeah.
stuff before we have. And I'm like, yeah,
Whatever, dude.
it's just how we do it.
Whatever, dude.
And what's funny is this time around, like we always did stuff on our own. We always did it. We did all the recording and engineering on our own in some capacity. And that was always an excuse as to why it took so long. And this time around, we're like, no, we're going to put it in Paul's hands. We're going to put it in Rollins' hands. And they're just going to do their job and they're going to crush it. And we're going to get it done right away. And we still managed to fuck that up. So.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude, just bow to the fucking it up.
You're right.
Because it didn't actually fuck it up. It just, yeah. Damn.
How would it go without your story? Yeah. You just
right.
drop the story. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe you just didn't want to put it out. Or maybe it did and you just forgot.
Yeah, maybe it's got its own timeline.
Yep.
Not ready to be birthed yet.
But I think I would like to put the record out next year.
Nice.
If all like goes as planned, I feel like that's possible. I mean, like summer next year feels like a good goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, production time is always a pain in the ass, but yeah, I don't know. It's a cool group of songs though, so we'll see. I want to do like I want to do like a larger than life sounding record, you know, like I want to do something that's got like high production value. It just sounds crazy. Doesn't sound, you know, like a Devin Townsend record almost, where it's just like so, just so like almost so over the top. Because I feel like Redbird was such a the opposite. Like it was all, you know, we were trying to do the raw thing, and it came out sounding great. It just I don't know. Like I want to do something just crazy sounding.
That was good.
Yeah, just fun to do that. I don't know. I get a lot of enjoyment out of just building layers and not, because Redbird was pretty much just like 4 people playing the music.
Right. Yeah,
this time I wanted to be like, I want to make it seem like, you know, a fucking orchestra is behind us or something like that. Either with a synth or with like a, you know, getting actual string players in. I have no idea yet. We'll sort of feeling it all out.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's it. Smashing Pumpkins. XYU. Did they play that song?
They did not.
Bummer.
Yeah.
They didn't do any like Billy Corgan's like solo stuff, did they?
No.
Okay.
One of our hashtags were my friend. I never posted anything, but she posted. I was like, SP forever, not Zwan, or something like thank God it was not Zwan. No, none of Billy's stuff. Although he was so lovey.
Really?
He's like a love bug now. He was just telling the crowd how much he loved us and like touching his heart, and we're so glad to be here. I mean, he was just like emitting it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Middle age is good on him.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I only asked because I had a buddy that went a couple of years ago when they were doing a thing where, what album was it? They were essentially playing the whole album, but only a couple songs every day. So it was like 3 days in a row. They were playing Metro and they were doing the whole album.
Was it the latest one they put out?
No, it was like one of their older ones.
Oh, okay.
I almost want to say it might have been Siamese Dream because like I know that's my buddy's
such a
like
huge record.
Yeah, that's like my buddy's favorite album ever. And I know that he went like one of the nights and he was so disappointed because one, they didn't play like one of the songs that he really liked from that album. And then, yeah, they only played a couple, but then they did a lot of Billy Corgan solo stuff. He's like, I don't know what this is and I don't like it. Like,
that's so different.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody else I knew went to that concert and said they really liked it a lot.
It was great. A lot of like Billy's a little bit into like Ancient Aliens and stuff, so they had those like Hopi dolls, like really cool, huge inflatable Hopi dolls that are supposed to be like actually Ancient Aliens, like astronauts. So I was like,
wait, what?
Yeah. You gotta, So if you look at like some of these Hopi Indian outfits, like some literally look like astronaut outfits, like big helmets and stuff like that. So
I have to look this up.
you gotta look it up. Look up like Hopi dolls, Ancient Aliens, something like that. You're gonna see a bunch of stuff. So I think there was a little like wink from Billy.
Yeah. Was he trying to sell the wrestling thing at all that night either?
No, not the wrestling, not his animal rights stuff. I saw him on Pause Chicago this past. He's big on. He's such a weirdo. I love it. I love all the different interests.
He is an interesting character for sure.
Yeah, total original.
Definitely one of a kind of a person for sure.
Yeah, just doing his damn thing.
Right. So do you play at all? Anything?
I don't. No. Like the last time I played clarinet in junior high. That was about
there you
it.
go.
Oh, I didn't know
I'm a
that.
dancer. I like to dance.
Cool.
There's a guy on YouTube who does clarinet covers of Necrophagist, which is a popular tech death band. And he plays
awesome.
I love the clarinet. I love the sound of it.
He plays these death metal songs with the clarinet.
Yeah, he does clarinet, and he also does like almost looks like a bassoon.
The bass clarinet, I believe.
Is what it is. Yeah, and it's like it's so funny to hear a guy do technical metal on an instrument.
He's also like,
that.
he
Wow,
also
that's
like
cool.
nails it.
Nails it.
yeah,
I'd love
like
to hear
crushes
that.
it every time.
This is what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so what part of this?
So you'll see some. I have one actually at home. Like some of these are like, I mean, it literally looks like astronauts' uniforms. So like this mask, right?
Okay.
It looks a little like a high-tech mask.
Like a little helmet.
So I mean, they're all like abstracted, right? And they're these ancient dolls. But the cave etchings, and some of these outfits, yeah, these look less so. But
They look like
literally have,
Legos.
like, they'll have like
Square.
That looks like a Lego.
yeah, but they'll have like knobs and like basically they look like a machine, like a machinist kind of.
Oh, interesting.
So I'll have to, I don't know, Kachina dolls. Yeah, Hopi Kachina dolls. You'll see some that look more or less like, so just think astronaut when you look at some of these.
Okay.
And see if they look a little different.
Everyone
than-
showed the
yeah.
bill too, because I don't know if. Do you know what I've never. I feel like I've seen that, but I never put the association there.
And it's not just in.
I thought it was just some abstracted form of a human. You know, somehow they saw humans with blocky heads.
Yeah,
But maybe
blocky, right.
that's not. That doesn't make any sense now that I'm saying
It doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah. And there'll be these sort of like white pouchy things with like knobs on the sides of the heads and like a face mask that look literally exactly like an astronaut uniform. Yeah. And they're thousands and thousands of years old. And from these, and then the storyline that goes with them is that the sky people came and gave us these gifts. And,
okay.
Yeah. So who knows? I don't know.
Who
but
knows?
I do like some of that stuff.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what else is new and exciting?
So what's new and exciting? I don't know. We're gonna go to a thrift shop today.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The Vintage Garage.
Vintage garage.
Where's that at?
Evanston.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's the last one of the season. This couple collects all this cool stuff.
Sweet. See, I didn't even know what this was.
I've never been actually, so so I wanted to go.
I'm just along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I don't know what else is new.
Outrun have anything coming up show wise?
No,
No.
it's just the record. Like
Cool. Oh, so
slowly
you're
but
just
surely.
Working on that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten any offers that we've gotten no offers, so it's fine. Like I don't want any. Like I'd rather just
kind of
do.
concentrate.
Like I get really excited about making the record. That's always been my favorite part of the band. I might have mentioned that the last time I was on, but like making the record is my favorite part. Which I don't think is shared by everyone in Outrun. In fact, I know it's not, but it's the part that I get the most involved in. So yeah, just translating all of it. So yeah, I think that's what's going on with Outrun for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think that might be it for what's going on.
How about you? Any good concerts coming up?
Any good concerts? No, I just went to Medicine for the People on Friday at House of Blues. I've never been to the House of Blues.
Really?
Austin and I were talking about how annoying it is.
I like working shows there because
You work shows there?
Yeah, I've like touring acts that I've worked for. Have gone
Oh,
to.
right.
Yeah. I love the staff there.
Really?
Some of them
Okay.
were really sweet. And
Okay,
some
yeah.
of them were annoying, but yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
The
I
stage,
think
highly
the
regulated.
stage hands. As far as
Yeah.
security goes, I
Oh, yeah,
don't know what those guys are like.
Yeah.
that's probably just like,
Yeah.
mismanaged
Mm.
kind of thing, I'd imagine. It's like the Metro. I always feel like they get a bad rap for their staffing. It's been a long time since I've been there, but they get like a lot of complaints about the way the security handles, entry and stuff like that, and just the kind of cold shoulder they give off, which I honestly have no idea how to really explain that.
I never experienced that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I really haven't either, but like somehow that is a stereotype.
Interesting.
It's a hive mind, I think.
Right. Once it gets out there,
It's true.
right?
The story, that's
Yeah, I
the
think
story.
it's
It
the
might have
hype.
nothing to do with reality.
Yeah, probably has something to do with reality. Personal accounts are one thing, but
Right.
to speak for the staff as a whole, yeah.
But even if you have a first personal account to then hold on to the story
Yeah,
and
totally.
then just ruin your own time at Metro.
Totally.
Yeah, always thinking about that every time you go there. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
what a bummer.
Like, this guy's going to do this to me again.
Right.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like my time there at the House of Blues on Friday, I had a total of 3 minutes of annoying, and
Okay.
the rest was great. So
Oh, there
why
you
would
go.
I tell that story? You know what I mean? It's like,
Why fixate
it was
on
great,
it, right?
I think I'm gonna go see Baby Metal
Oh, really? Where's
Like-
that at?
at House of Blues.
Interesting.
I think
Is
it's
that
not-
stage big enough for them?
I've seen them there at that
Really?
venue before. Yeah,
They work like their production works fine with that.
they don't do like the over the top, like, you know, they don't do the whole
right.
Japanese arena
Massive
production.
spectacle. Okay.
A massive spectacle. Yeah, they just do the choreography and like have a light show.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know about Baby Metal?
no, adorable name.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the shtick. It's like it's a Japanese metal band. The backing band is phenomenal, and the 3 front women have got to be like in their 20s, and the whole thing's
Yeah.
like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like if J-pop and metal fused together.
Yeah,
So there's like a lot of dancing,
Very theatric.
Gotcha.
very theatric. It's kind of just hilarious, honestly, and like so
It is a
much fun.
spectacle.
Good
like
time.
it's. I mean, just YouTube.
It's a
I mean, it
spectacle.
doesn't really do it justice, but you get an idea like how grand
Yeah.
their production is when they
I mean, I feel like the
doing
culture
this.
of J-pop alone is just such a. It's well, first of all, it's a huge moneymaker, but they put on these insane shows, totally insane shows, crazy light shows, crazy sets. Like it'll be like, I don't know. It honestly looks like what people like see when they go see like a Bruno Mars concert. Like there's just so much money behind it,
Mhm.
and they do it for like this metal band where like there's 20 somethings as the front women, and
which is kind of unheard of because metal doesn't have much
Women,
money.
not to mention
women.
yeah,
Yeah.
money, right? Women and money. Yeah, exactly.
not to mention
On top of the
Japanese
fact
girls.
that like their backing band is like insanely talented.
Yeah, they're so
too,
good.
which
Yeah.
is really cool. Yeah,
Honestly, everyone's insanely talented. Those girls don't stop dancing the entire show.
really, it's just like
They just are
like-
constantly dancing and
Sounds
singing.
tiring.
It's fucking probably really exhausting. It's cardio.
Yeah, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I might go see that. We'll see
Nice.
if I feel like it.
Trying to think, I haven't, man. If it, like it's one of those moments where if it's not a show I'm playing, I haven't really been able to make it out. Like,
Yeah. My friend invited me out to see Duster at Sleeping Village last night, and I was just like, no, like I love you, but you know, I needed like some space and some
Right.
silence. Like I'm not gonna like, cause it was tempting at first. Like I should see this show. This band's like really big. They're not gonna come back for a while. It's a sold out show. He has an extra ticket. Like all this
Right.
stuff. Just realized I didn't want to go.
right. Plenty of good reasons to go, but you're like, nah.
Yeah,
just need a
and then
break.
so it would have actually been like a bad time if I went for me, you know, because I would have been not listening to what's here.
Right. Yeah. I remember, you know, the band was it Tesseract?
Yeah.
I got a call once from a buddy of mine that knew their tour manager, and they needed like an emergency guitar tech to come in and fix a guitar.
Mm.
And so I got called in. I was like, yeah, all right. I didn't know that band at all. I
Yeah.
thought they were like a band based out of California that played like periphery-esque stuff.
Oh my God.
I
yeah,
could not
they're
be any more wrong.
So the opposite. Yeah.
They're from England, which was funny. That was
You like had-
shocking
you
when I
just-
met the guy.
What venue were you at?
Bottom Lounge.
Okay.
It was a while ago now, and
Was it the show
I,
was it the show that we played?
no, I don't think so.
Huh. That's okay.
Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure.
Probably not.
I don't think
feel like
so.
you would've
'cause I would have
remembered.
saw you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was funny because like I'm talking to the guy. I was like, "Where are you guys from?" He was like, "I'm from England." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." I was like, "That's not California at all." And I just got back from tour, and so I was exhausted. Did not want to go to a show. I was just like, "All right, I'm gonna go help this dude out.
Mhm.
It'll be fun." He was like, "Hey, it was a sold out show."
Was it
too.
Ackle or James that you helped out?
Who's the taller, lankier, long haired guy?
James.
James. Okay. Yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, if you want, like, you know, we'll get you a full pass and everything and
Yep.
hang out." I was like, "I appreciate that, but I really just wanted to come out and grab dinner with my buddy. I'm really tired. I got back from the
Beautiful.
road." I was like,
great.
"You have
Beautiful.
fun. I'll see you later."
Yeah. Oh,
And
man.
I walked out and like had friends there that were like, "Why were you with that dude?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just fixed his guitar." And they're like, "Are you staying for the show?" And I'm like, "No, not at all." I was
Yeah.
like, "I'm tired, man. I just wanted a chicken sandwich and I want to go to bed."
They're such a good band, though.
Are they?
Yeah, they're such. I'm not.
I believe it.
Yeah, no, they're crazy good. I'm like it. They were like their last record was a total obsession of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just absolutely sonic bliss. Just yeah, wonderful band. Well, I think like again, like I start picking up on things where like literally a fucking line in one of the songs is like silence and clarity, obvious destiny, and it's just and it's just like
Resonate.
wait a second, are you doing what I'm doing?
Great.
Or are you just like a poet and you just like those words happen upon it? I have no idea. Yeah.
Well, we all happen upon truth all the time. It just doesn't like it doesn't. It maybe it hasn't really landed or is abiding. But yeah.
I wonder with that band at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're great.
I believe you.
I haven't listened to anything, but
I am terrible with music.
That's okay.
I'm a horrible, like I said, I'm a horrible musician on all fronts. So.
That's
not
great.
true.
Give up the identity.
Totally. Don't believe what anybody says about me. I'm not that good. I don't listen to cool music. I'm bad.
It's just not true though. Like, you're not bad.
It's debatable.
Would Jason would agree. He'd be like, he's fucking horrible.
He would 100% agree. Yes. Yeah.
I could say I'm not a good therapist. I mean, I definitely do not fit.
No.
I'll sometimes be real bitchy with my clients, and so yeah.
Oh, you have yet to be bitchy with me.
Yeah, I can just be a clear bitch. Like Kieran's nickname is Clarity Bitch, and
Clarity Bitch.
That's her nickname out in California because it's like everybody's so spiritual, and she's just kind of like. She just says, "What's up?" So I can feel a little bit more of that with me these days, where I'm just like I don't suffer the storylines, right? I'll have clients where they're just like in their fucking story. I'll just be like, none of that's true. Tell me what's actually true right now, like, and come in your body and right. So it doesn't. The more I own my bitch, the less bitchy I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've had the same experiences with being like, like fucking angry or just just judging the shit out of something or being like an asshole. Like you're always like embrace your inner asshole. Like just embrace it, know, because it's because it's the second you because once you do it, it's like there's something to say there, and then like you can just go back to. Like now there's a no, and then you just go back to doing what you're doing before.
Your no, like how you were just like I just want a chicken sandwich. I'm going like that's you could call that an asshole. Like people be like, well, he's just so rude. He just left or whatever. But it's like it's just what's true. It's just your boundary. It's like
what I wanted to do.
Just what you want to do.
It's just what you wanted to do. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
The inner asshole.
Yeah. Very very clear. Our asshole. It's like no.
Yeah.
I wanted that and no and to this and I hate everything.
The church of inner asshole.
The church of inner asshole.
Like the Church of K.
Yep, exactly.
Do you know about the Church of K?
No. Is that like an Men in Black reference, please?
Do you want to endorse this?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think they deserve an endorsement, as if it's anything for these boys. But we both like the comedian Chris D'Elia, and we'll send like little Instagram things back and forth with Chris because he's just as he says, he's down for a silly goose time, and that's
do you know who that is?
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. It's not just you like comedy. So
I really I don't think I talk about it on here too much, but I do really enjoy stand-up comedy a lot.
Oh my
I
god,
do
dude!
Follow a lot of Chris.
Dude, she's like the one, like her, and then my buddy Danny, like I feel like that's my fuel for like learning about this stuff. Like.
I basically watch, I hang out with comedians. Like I'll just have like comedians podcasts on. I just like,
oh, nice.
Comedians seem like very sane people to me. Very honest.
They're very transparent.
Exactly.
Which is what is cool about comedians.
It's cool
because it's just part of their life is to talk about it in a way that's fun and interesting to everybody else.
Exactly.
And it's funny because it's almost like they have no boundaries. Like they're just like, this thing happened to me, and I'm going to tell you about it. It doesn't matter how fucked up it was.
Yeah.
It's a story to tell.
It's like to me that's like one way they wouldn't have a boundary just because it's so authentic for them. But I think they have so many boundaries that like Chris D'Elia ends up like being perceived as a fucking asshole when really he's just like doing exactly what he wants to do all the time.
Yeah, and just not doing what he doesn't want to do.
Exactly. And then it makes or like,
which I can see
or
why
getting on
like,
it or getting on the Instagram story and like just like calling an entire city out. Like,
Right. Yeah.
like
I hate
Albuquerque, which was like local news, which is like that's that's how you know know like the fucking insanity exists, because it's like,
People got
why did
upset
you
about
give him
that.
attention?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing I don't get with a lot of that stuff, where especially with comedians and people that get upset with whatever they say, and then it's like they bring it up and it's like, well, you're giving attention to it.
Yeah.
One comedian that I never checked out before until recently was Tom Segura.
Oh, I love
And the
Tom.
reason why was because I saw an article from a lady complaining about his latest was it Disgraceful, I think was his last one on Netflix. And she was mad about one of his jokes, and reading it out of context, I was like, all right, I could see why she was mad. I was like, but I kind of see why it's funny. And I'm like, I got to see this whole thing. And I ended up watching the stand up. I'm like, this is absolutely phenomenal. It's like one of my favorites. Like, I love watching it all the time. And he's like one of my favorite comedians now. But if it wasn't for that lady, maybe I would have gone down that road eventually. But
honestly, they should
quicker.
they should get embodiment therapists and have them stand outside the fucking
Right.
have them stand outside and like, you know, when the show's over, the comedian goes, okay, if you were triggered tonight,
Right.
there are some
here that will
people
help
out there
you.
who can help you, you know, come into what the fuck reality is.
Right. It's getting to that point where I feel like they probably should, to be honest. Like, with like,
I mean, I don't know.
I think people need to discuss it more in like a bigger, not bigger scale, like not online. That's the worst way to go about it. I feel like more like in the now. Like you said, post show would be perfect.
Great. It's just that we need therapists who aren't therapisty.
Right.
Who don't empathize with the story.
Exactly.
That they actually extract the belief that that is being projected onto Tom, because he's actually just. I mean, like Bill Burr always talks. Like what we do is just tell jokes. That's it. It's just all. It's just to make you laugh. That's what we're doing. So
did you think it was funny? Yes or no?
That's my job.
That's it.
Period.
Yes.
Versus like, I'm not running for office. Like, I'm not, you know.
Right.
So it's all totally insane to put them up against anything other than, are you making me laugh? That's it.
Right.
So, but people will do that. And so, but really what they need is like, they need some surgery. They don't need to be that story to be indulged and to be empathized with. This is what drives me crazy about therapists, is that they empathize with the story
with that.
instead of questioning the story and doing the healing on the brokenhearted girl who's calling out all the baddies, you know.
Right.
God bless her, but she you know, that's a lot of activism runs from that. And it's actually all just pain driven. So yeah, they do need the trigger room with a loving person, but not who's going to empathize with their story.
Right.
But I would love that. I would love like on-site healing, you know.
I mean, like look at the latest like Dave Chappelle
that got a lot of flack.
So much flack, which I just don't
didn't see it, but
it's good. It's really good. If you like Dave Chappelle, it's
Cody just said it didn't make him laugh.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's funny because it was more like a rebuttal to his previous stand-ups, because he just kept getting flack from all those, and then he kind of just goes back on it and talks about it and the reactions he got, and then only pushes it more because it's, I don't know, more fuel for him, you know. And these people are like falling for it. That's what's crazy about it.
I know we're rolling, but can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
cool.
Fine.
But yeah, what other stand-ups do you enjoy?
Oh, let's see. I'm a big fan of Theo Von. I just saw him in Louisville. Cute little town, by the way. So charming.
I do like Louisville. I was there not
cute?
too long ago for a show and got to walk up and down like this little downtown area.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Cool town. I do
Love
like it.
Everybody there was so great. Yeah. So I like Theo. So I like Theo's podcast, Chris's podcast. I like Tom and Christina P.
Dude, that one is so funny. I keep up on that one now.
Yeah. Sometimes it makes me a little sad, like the people that they'll like. I'd rather like listen to them interview somebody than kind of go onto their TikToks and their YouTubes and stuff.
Yeah, they get a little carried away with those sometimes.
And I love that they enjoy it, but it's not my
my
vote. But they're great. And who else? I love Bill Burr.
His latest stand-up was really good.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
It's so good. He's another one. It's similar to Dave Chappelle, where he's kind of answering for what he did in the previous ones, because he's, you know, he kind of says whatever's on his mind and it goes from there. And so obviously, he catches flack for that, and I can see why. I mean, none of that stuff ever bothers me, but I can see why it bothers other people. And he talks about it in great detail, and it's really funny. He just admits like He's like, yeah, it's the end of my career because like what I'm saying now. He's like, I understand.
Yeah. I know, it's so crazy, right? It's such the literalism. Yeah. So yeah, I love all those guys. Bobby Lee, I watch his Tiger Belly. He's hilarious. Just something about Bobby. He walks into a room, I laugh.
That guy is like a character and a half. Like his one thing that I enjoy, speaking of like stand up, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's called This Is Not Happening.
Yeah.
Which is
I
a
love those.
phenomenal
Yeah.
show just because it's all real stories,
Totally.
which is and some of these stories are so absurd. Like his was a really good one, talking about when he was on Mad TV and he got fired for his drug addiction. Like,
Yep.
and seeing more stuff with that guy, I'm like, man, he's even more interesting than I thought he was. Because my introduction was like Mad TV,
Yep.
which is not much of an introduction to anybody because they're just kind of playing characters. But
Bobby
to
Lee.
hear, to hear more about him and his personal story,
Exactly.
pretty interesting stuff, and he is so funny.
He's so fun. And yeah, talk about what you were saying earlier, like the transparency and the vulnerability. That's really what I love about all these guys. I so want to like get in the door with doing the healing I do with these dudes because they're really, truly curious. And I hear Theo like with his therapist who's not, it doesn't sound great, and like, I'm like, oh my God, you guys, we could do this. We could totally do this. So that's my dream. That's what's next, I hope.
Oh, nice. There you go.
I break through with Theo or Chris. Well, Chris will never go to therapy. He doesn't he has no interest whatsoever.
thing.
But like Theo or Bobby. Or
No, he
like
goes to the Church of K.
Andrew Santino.
We never described the
we
Church
never
of
did do the Church
So
of K.
what is this now?
So Chris' brother Matt,
Yep.
who's also a silly goose.
He's like way more deadpan and dry than Chris is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And he has a new podcast called Matt D'Elia is Confused, where he interviews people that confuse him and that like do like exorcisms and stuff. And it's ridiculous. I've only listened to one episode, but it's earnest. Like he was like you were saying earlier, we're like, I'm truly curious. Like I don't believe what these people are doing. I don't agree with them at all, but I really want to know.
Yeah. You just wanna
And
hear it.
like this is where he and his brother definitely part, where Chris would suffer no moment of like talking to anybody that he's not interested. Like Chris has a very small, little concentric circles he moves in his life. Matt's like interested in everybody and everything, and that's more authentic for him.
They couldn't be more opposite.
They couldn't be more opposite. I mean, they're so similar in
That's
a lot of
awesome.
ways, but it's like Chris is like, what are you doing? But because Matt is more like he's exposed to these these people who are quite different from him.
Yeah.
He came up with this thing called the Church of K, or this response, and you can
Yeah. Well, it's like it takes him 7 minutes to set this up.
right.
But basically, it's like, if you're like, let's say you're at a family function, you're you're at a holiday dinner, and like your mom, I don't know what he says exactly, but like in my situation, it'd be like, oh, my mom like makes some comment about like how my Austin, your hair cream, I read the ingredients, it has petroleum in it. I just want you to live a long, healthy, happy life. And then the response would just be, "Okay."
That's great. Yeah.
It's just your response to everything. K, exactly. And you can say it in multiple ways.
Like, "Okay."
K,
Got it. Right.
Donald Trump is president. "Okay."
K, K. Makes you feel better.
Yep. It's just the subscription to
I do like that.
Yeah, it's just I just imagine it being. Oh, we discovered that like an entire branding packet was plagiarized. Okay.
Like
Moving along.
We discovered that I don't know what's recent in my life. I could think of a million things, but which one do I want to say out loud? Oh, we just fired an employee. We don't really have any reason, but we just know that he wasn't a good fit. Okay. It's like, I don't know. It's like,
I've definitely done versions of that in my life where I've talked to people where it's like, this conversation's rough. See ya. Yeah, like we're done.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it was one of like old episodes that like always cracks me. It hasn't happened in a while, but how did I word it? It was like not accidental racism, but what it was is being that I look white, every once in a while I'll get a dude that's like, you get it, right? Like these people. I'm like, no. Conversation done. See, it's one of those ones like, okay.
That's
I'm out. Like,
for it. Yeah.
That's a rough one. Yeah, it hasn't happened in a while, but it's funny. Like, I'm like, dude, like, I get it. It's the middle of winter and I'm not looking as tan as usual, but I'm not fully white, man. Like I am not on the same page as you, brother. You know, like come on.
Disengage.
It's
For
like, okay,
sure.
see you later. Done. Walk away.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Not one more second.
How is Theo live though?
He was great. He was very like he just didn't stop moving. So he's just like pacing and pacing. So he's a little more like amped up than I thought because he's kind of such a chill dude. But he was great. He was really good timing. He did like there were some annoying crowd members and he did really good improv. Just kind of put him, just K'd him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the rat king.
The Rat King. Yeah. He was so cute. Yeah. He's like my Hobbit brother.
Hobbit brother. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Theo. My heart just goes out to him. He's just been through a lot, and he's so searching for healing. Like, God, brother, just come on, just call me up. We can do this. We can so do this. You don't have to suffer so much. God. Yeah,
It would make him such a. Yeah, I don't know what would make him. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome to see that for sure.
Yeah. So he was good.
Yeah, one of the other, because we were talking, like, have you ever seen the show? It's called This Is Not Happening.
Yeah.
Comedy
Oh,
Central.
yeah.
Yeah. One person, I've been telling people about it left and right. And I recently, remembered her again and got
Wait,
back
this is
into
not
it.
happening. This is not. Oh, I just confused that with I Think You Should Leave.
That is a phenomenal show. I met a dude that does shirts for that show.
Oh, really?
While I was on the road. He's like a friend of Gobo's. Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so no, I've not seen this show. My bad.
It's a great
great.
show. It's basically, it's just true stories that it's not always comedians. I mean, they do have other people on there. Like Andrew WK was on there. It was really funny. But recently, because like on Tom Segura's podcast.
Is this like a Comedy Central, like on like a YouTube thing?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
got it. I've seen episodes of this.
Yeah, he was the original co-host of it. Now it's I can't
Got
remember
it.
the guy's
I don't
name,
know
but he's from
either.
like the Daily Show, I guess, or
Yeah.
something like that. But anyway, what's his name? Drew Pinsky has a show under Tom Segura's thing, and he brought this comedian on, Jessa Reed, who's got the like most insane backstory ever. She was this hardcore meth head, and her story on This Is Not Happening is like it's weird how it borders on like this is really funny, but this is also the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Whoa,
And it's a great story, and she tells it super well.
whoa.
But it's a very condensed version of it. And so I saw that she was on the Drew show, so I was like, oh, I need to see this, because this was like an hour and a half long episode with her. I was like, I need to know more about this lady's history, because it's just crazy that she bounced back from something as absurd as what she did.
Yeah.
And she goes on to tell even more detail about like her life doing all the, because I think she did it for like 14 years or something like that,
Wow.
and managed to turn it around. Is
That's
doing
amazing.
super well now.
Yeah, so many.
But she doesn't do comedy, I guess. She's like, she's like, I think I'm going to stop for a while. And it's weird because her career just like took off a little bit because of that episode. But now she's like, I don't want to do it.
That's so interesting.
She's a very interesting person. But yeah, I would highly recommend checking out that specific episode.
What's her name again?
Jessa Reed.
Jessa Reed. Okay.
Yeah, she also does a podcast that I haven't listened to in a while, but another interesting one where it's called, what is it, the Mormon and the Meth Head. And so obviously she's the meth head, and her partner with it is a former Mormon, and he's a lot younger. I think he's like in his early 20s or something like
just
that.
people shattering belief systems and getting together over
Well,
it.
it's interesting because like they talk about how they're. I mean, it seems like they'd be so different, but there's a lot of parallels to what has gone on in their lives, and it's interesting to hear them talk. Like I said, she's just an interesting character, and she's very open about everything she's ever done, which is crazy.
Awesome. Have you seen Miss Pat?
Miss
No.
Pat is
Oh,
crazy.
Miss Pat is she's the best. Check out the Joe Rogan interview with Miss Pat recently. It's just so fucking funny. And she was also did it. This is not happening. And she was like dealing coke when she was 13. She had 3 babies before she was 15. And then her sister just dumped off a bunch of kids to her that she calls her crack babies.
Yep.
And she's so fucking funny. Her life is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But she's so funny. So she's been encouraged. She kind of just lives this like normal life and kind of comes in and out of comedy. And Joe is like, Ms. Pat needs a podcast. So he was just like pressuring her to do it, like I think with her husband or, because her husband's also really funny. But Ms. Pat just says anything, and it's unbelievable. First of all, you're just like, oh my God, her life. But everything's turned to gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's like alchemy.
Alchemy. She
Yeah.
totally alchemized her whole life. Yeah. All the pain has been made. Exactly.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff intrigues me. Like I was telling my dad, I was like, I enjoy hearing those stories of like that craziness because I myself, I don't think I'll ever go down that. I'm never gonna do meth. I'm not.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I barely smoke weed as it is, and so like,
and you can actually know that too, which is cool. Like you can know that like I'm never gonna do meth. Like people are like, maybe you're in the right situation or whatever. Like it's like no, fuck no. Like
you don't know. It might be a slow Tuesday.
Yeah, you don't know how to predict life. Anything could happen.
I think those are more like hearing those stories are way more of a PSA than like the DARE programs I did in like grade school. Like that did nothing for me. But
oh, dude, for sure.
Hearing that stuff is just like, oh, I don't want to do that. To know that you can go there because of something like that is more than enough for me to be like, I'm good.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Power of like human transformation that how far people can come.
Yeah,
it's
like
cool. So great. So anybody
like
listening to that, that's what I love about like some of Theo's listeners, where they're so inspired by him, right? They're like really into drugs or whatever, and they see that he's gotten sober and he's taking good care of himself and he lets himself be emotional. He'll cry, and all these different things that you guys especially, have been so shut down. So there's nothing better than people just sharing their truth,
right? Yeah. Just like you said, being transparent and just kind of talking about what goes, because I mean a lot of people can relate to. It might not be the same exact story, but there is some sort of relation to some of that craziness for everybody in some regard, and it's nice to hear, oh, okay, I'm not alone on this one.
Yeah, it's the heartbreak that is like, that's the through line, like we all have heartbreak. We weren't born into the world with these crazy stories, and then like we had crazy parents who also had crazy parents who also had crazy parents, who just, it's just the conditioning. It lived, and you can come all the way out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that holds for me, but it's something I've gotten obsessed over and a little, like just really dove into it. I'm genuinely interested, and so if I wasn't genuinely interested.
And you've genuinely walked it. You've watched yourself transform and dump whole belief systems that you didn't know you were walking around with.
Totally. Yeah, we've talked about this in sessions before. I've actually started like recording my own sessions, which is like amazing. It's like little podcast episodes that are all about me and the things that I'm, that are bothering me or whatever. But the one thing I've noticed is I actually am able to, I'd say like, I wish I could track my progress, but I actually can track my progress. I can actually know how I would have responded to something 2 years ago versus what I do now. And I listen to my judgments, and I like I listen to the hatred, and I listen to all of it. And I don't go like, you shouldn't be hateful. You shouldn't be judgmental. Yeah. It's like, it's awesome. It's like truly, truly awesome. And that's like kind of what peace is like letting it all be here.
Including hate
and resentment and rage.
If it's here, it's here.
Yeah. It's all part of it.
It's like funny, but it's so dead. I'm so dead serious. Like I'm dead serious. It's like,
I mean, you can't have that without the, like you need
exactly.
that. It's all balanced and whatnot.
It's like the reason that people get scared about hatred. I realized in a session with her was like, is the storyline about hatred. But it's not the hatred itself.
Yeah, you should tell your story about hatred, like what we discovered in session, where we were like I was like, well, hatred gets to be here. It's here. Tell me about it.
I forgot why I hate.
It was your family story of like.
Oh no, it was.
Jewish.
Oh no, what was that? Yeah, it started with like an ex friend of mine who just like, I perceived him burning me, and I have struggled with like, oh, I should reach back out, or I should be a good person, or this and that, and I should try and reconnect, and it's just like turned into a gigantic fuck no. Actually, like the truth is no. But just meeting the hatred of like, why is it bad to hate, and sort of coming into the body with that is like, it's like, well, the Jews have suffered at the hands of hatred, so you don't want to be hateful because it might be like being a Nazi or following some strange lineage like that, and then it's perpetuated by a society that, puts out signs in their front lawn that says like hate is not welcome here. And I get it. It's not intentionally meaning to, dissuade, like, how do I put this? It's like, it's a message from love, I think. But I had always perceived it in this totally distorted way, based on my own conditioning.
Yeah, again, we can whittle it down to it's basically a no. It was like a no to this dude, right? Like, I basically just don't like the taste of him. Like, I don't like, I just, blech,
Yeah,
blech.
like, blech.
Yeah.
Like to think of even seeing him as like a blech.
Yeah. And if we were just animals and we didn't have any storyline about it, it would just be blech, and then you would never see him again.
Just go that way.
Right. So it gets to kind of this, we call it hate, but it's really essentially just a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
but then this amount of storylines around it.
Yeah. So just coming into that, just realizing, just this thing with my family, it's like, it's not okay to hate. Which I almost don't even know if that was explicitly said, but it definitely was perpetuated by people like my grandmother, like Bubby, who just, like, she's almost 90 years old, lives in a home with Holocaust victims. It's like, it's hard evidence for her. So, believing her story as my own was the detriment of like, why is it not cool to hate? And I realized it's like, it actually has a lot to say. It has exactly like all the things that I need to come into what's just true for me. But I had this realization. It's like, well, like asking Meghan, like, why it's bad to hate. Like, hate kills people, and it's like, no, like, that's not what kills people. Hate doesn't pick up a gun and shoot someone. It's the belief in the hatred. And so if there's no belief in the hatred and there's just hatred here, like, what am I? And so it's like, this is back to awareness, right? It's like, I can, instead of believe the thought about hatred, I can just watch it. I can observe it. I can listen to it. The tools that, essentially meditation and embodiment and inquiry provide is the space and the silence to do that. And so just realize that I'm not the hatred. And it's just a thought in awareness. I can listen to it. I can actually hear what it says. Doesn't require me to kill anyone. Doesn't require me to do any sort of drastic action. It's just a truth. And now I know not to disengage. And I remember you said in the session, like, well, I mean, through some weird mental consciousness, it's like hatred, it's like two dudes from two different countries that like cooked their food a little different and spoke a little different language. And then there was a storyline about that. And like, they could have walked off and said like, well, I don't want to talk to you right now. Maybe we'll come back another time. Or maybe like they got interested and like they learned how to cook their food different. And, then they applied it to their cuisine. And then like, then we have like a homogenous, like, I don't need to like be your friend, but like we can learn from each other. The storyline of the hatred is what caused them to kill each other. And say like, you're cooking your food differently. This is not right. You to go. And acting on that hatred as violence, which is actually a weird, not only is it violence to them, it's actually like a self-violence, really. Like, you're not born to kill other people. Right. Born to kill, sir. Was that that's fucking Full Metal Jacket? It's like no.
See how Full Metal Jacket's such a good example of like the brainwashing. You had to actually tell that story over and over and over and over and over again because it's so antithetical to our actual being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you have to be brainwashed and Stockholm syndromed in order for a body to hurt another body.
Yeah, it's so not true. And so like coming all the way into hatred without the storyline.
Which would just be like two dogs fighting, just like Eckhart Tolle always tells this story. I put it on a blog of like two ducks fighting in a pond. He was watching after his awakening, just watching life. And he would watch two ducks fight, right? And there's still such a thing as sort of like territory. And I mean, humans, we sort of like rank order, like alpha and omega, all that stuff. But it really in the animal kingdom, it's not really, they're not better or worse. It's just more like let's just sort this thing out. So the two ducks are fighting in the pond, snip, snip, snip. They like ruffle their feathers, and then it's over. It's over in about 20 seconds. They part ways, and they shake off the adrenaline. Their feathers shake, and now they're floating next to each other perfectly fine. Right? It's all sorted. It's no problem. There's no storyline. There's no violence. There's no, we wouldn't even call it hate. It's just sorting reality, right? Like life sorting itself out. And life is so capable of sorting itself out. It digests your food, and it grows your hair, and ducks figure it out, and it needs no thought.
Yeah.
So when something arises like that in a human, I just don't like the taste of this dude. It's without any story. It can come up like a fire in your system. And if it's welcomed, it's over. It's already over by the time it's welcomed.
Yeah.
It just kind of moves through.
Yeah. The suffering is like the belief in the story.
Yeah.
Because I suffered through it. I've suffered it for years, just.
And the resistance to.
And the exactly.
That's
that's the suffering, right?
Yeah.
Is the resistance.
Like I shouldn't hate. I shouldn't like this guy. I should be a good guy. I should be a good person.
I should
hate
forgive him.
I should him. Right.
See how he's doing. What the fuck ever,
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that argument with reality.
Yeah, argument with reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you definitely run that risk of like, I've definitely done in the past where it's like, all right, maybe I should make amends, and you try, and then this person's like, nope, fuck you, and you're like, well, fuck you. And it's just we're back to square one again. Of like,
and if it were, the funny thing
know?
is that if it were actually a true movement for me to reconnect with him, it probably would go pretty well.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if it was actually true, like how that would feel, I can sort of imagine it, but it's absolutely not what's here. So there is a difference in like moving from truth.
Yeah. And
versus the trying.
Versus trying. Exactly. And even like something like forgiveness, I always have a real, I just don't quite understand what people are talking about when they're talking about forgiveness. Because really it's just like, like forgiveness seems like an act you would do. Like I'm going to forgive them. And it's like, how the fuck are you going to do that? It's either true or not. That meaning, and it's not true that like, I wouldn't even call it forgiveness. It's just true that I no longer have a story about something. Right. So it's like, we got a call from my sweet mother on the way here, and she just, there's so much love there, but there's also a little there's a little manipulation sometimes in her ways. Yeah.
Well,
it was kind of evident.
Well,
and she doesn't know it, and it's innocent.
After you said it, I actually didn't know what was happening.
And this is out of fear, right? Out of her fear, she will kind of like grab at a different, like more ways to connect with me. Cause she's afraid, like my mother has the belief that like, I'm like her oxygen. So she's afraid to not be around me, or afraid that I'm going to pull away from her. Right. I know that that's not true. And it's actually sapping her oxygen to believe that thought. But, she doesn't know that. She sort of believes it. So I am, so I could tell a story of how unfair that was, that my mother believes this, and how unfair my childhood was. And then like be hurt. And I was hurt by a lot of words from her. But so that's real. It's a true experience in my life that I picked up a bunch of beliefs that weren't serving me. I picked up a bunch of pain that wasn't serving me, all innocent from particularly my mother. But if I just look with awareness at the whole thing, she was believing it. It's so damn innocent. It's just like she caught a virus. She caught a virus called I Need My Daughter. And then I caught that virus, and then it perpetuates, right? But if I look at it and I question the thought, and I come into where it's stored in the body and heal it, well, then it just drops away. And I just look at this innocent woman, right? And she calls and she does her thing, but it's not like I forgave her. I just don't believe it anymore. And as Eckhart Tolle calls it, that sort of like, you learn how to deliver a high quality no, which is like, what did I say today? I was like, I love you, Mom. I will call you later, or I'll think about it or something.
Yeah. It was a sort of, it was like a sweet dismissal of what's happening right now. Like we'll talk about this later.
We'll talk about this later. I don't know, So, and then, what's true in my system, right? If I'm really just listening to me, it's that I want her to come the amount that she's going to come next weekend, and not more, what she was sort of advocating for. That's just true in my system. Now I could tell the story that she should know that, and she shouldn't push it and whatever. But this woman is innocently believing that I'm her oxygen. Right. She's going to try to get as much oxygen as possible, right?
Get in as much, yeah.
It's just me not believing it that is my peace. And I don't, and I haven't for years. And I saw what it did to me to believe it. Anyway, so there's no real forgiveness. At what point did I forgive? Rather, it just falls away.
Mhm.
The whole storyline about they did me wrong. No, they really did themselves wrong, and they picked up this virus. It would be like blaming somebody for having the flu.
Yeah, God, it's like all the time we find like I discover like the complaining aspect of our culture just perpetuates the notion that stuff is being done to them. And it's just, it's again, it's just not true, like we have all kinds of victim complexes that we watch other people around us act out through words or actions, and they seem like, and then they're seeing the media, and then it seems like a viable way to like explain what's going on. So it's like, just, I mean, like going back to the coworker who was recently fired, it's like, to me, it was, obvious he wasn't happy, like for sure. And just watching the through line of how that came into like, his like into the workplace, essentially, it's like, it would have been in his best interest to quit probably like a year or so ago. And it just didn't happen. And I think it's just because the timing wasn't right, but I don't know. It's like the more we come into this stuff, the more we can just like find the hook a little bit earlier, like a little bit faster. We get better at listening. And like, I mean, I go through stuff at my job all the time where it's like, this is not the funnest thing in the world right now. Like maybe I could do more or whatever. Maybe I could find a better job, or like, maybe I'm like, like where are all the feelings of tension or whatever coming from? But I just stay in it, probably because of fear, honestly, like it's not, because I know it's not an end game scenario for me, but it's definitely doing like, it brings me like a certain percentage of like total of like pleasure, and then the other percentage is like, oh man, like I don't love this part, whatever, but it doesn't, so I don't know, it's just funny.
Total fulfillment yet.
Yeah, I'm not total fulfillment yet, which is fine. Totally fine. And I don't even know what total fulfillment would be in a job scenario yet. So it's sort of like still kind of what I'm discovering. Yeah. So, but again, like just to go back to like the general way people interpret like stuff's happening to them, it leads you to that kind of like that kind of self-violence that you were talking about, where you like believe that your mother's doing this to you, and then it makes you act a certain way, and it hurts a lot. It just, it hurts a lot longer, and then it turns into stress and all this other awful shit, where it's like, if you actually met the heart wound, like it would just be a release, and then you could do it again and again, and it would be a whole lot more sweet for you, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And this, we're not going to be able to do anything about the world. And I have no domain over my mother's, it's not my business, her beliefs.
Yeah.
But I cannot believe them. I can wake up from my own thoughts. And then that's the liberation. And so we don't need, that it's so disempowering to believe we need other people to change, or to believe we're missing anything, really, that we need them to say I'm sorry, or we need to forgive them, or we need, it's like, no, we just need to not believe the thought of what we're missing, and basically be that unconditional acceptance for ourselves that we're trying to get in our relationships, which doesn't really work. We can't really source off of other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, like the idea of somebody else changing, like I have so many friends that are in relationships like that too, where it's like, oh, this person does these horrible things I don't like, but I'm going to work on it and make them change. It's like, you're going to just drive yourself into the ground with that.
Yeah.
And I don't get how people do that.
Well, they really believe like this is like that there's value in working, or that like that's their source.
I mean, I guarantee all three of us have done it. It's like we've been there, where it's just like it's like everyone around you is saying you can fix this, or or you somehow got the idea you can fix this, and that if you don't try, it's like you have the conversation one-on-one with them. I mean, I remember being with Andrea, and like a lot of what would come up as like a point that she would always make to me, which like in hindsight she was so fucking right, was like, you should not be talking to me about this. Like this is not for us to work out. And I would go to her for like the solace, right? Like even though the problem that I perceived at the time had to do with our relationship, but like she's not going to meet me. She's not going to like, since our relationship from the beginning was not built on like total sovereignty, she's not going to be able to meet me at like where I need her to meet me, and vice versa. Like I can't meet her where she's at, like, so I have a storyline for everything she says to me, and she's a storyline everything I say back to her. So yeah, I'm sorry, I sort of digressed there, but
that's right.
That endless pain loop right there.
The endless pain loop, right? It's like you don't like something and you're not sure what to do about it, so you try and fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just like a relationship I was in where it went south, and it was funny. Like in hindsight, we talked about where we're like, we probably could have worked on that, and I was like, I don't know. I just felt like you weren't into it, and that's fine. I was like, I can go. It's not gonna,
yeah.
That's kind of how I go about it. Where I'm like,
I've kind of had that experience.
Like, hey, I get it. It's sometimes that happens. And
I always think all the time, like if I had this awareness when I was with Andrea, like maybe we'd still be together or whatever.
You might have been broken up quicker.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
possibly.
Sure.
I have no idea. I don't know, but maybe that might have been the more likely story, unless somehow the relationship again had started differently.
Yeah, this whole idea with couples of like. And this isn't so in the therapy world when like couples therapy, I have literally no idea what couples therapists are doing. I just don't know. I think that they're just.
Have you seen there's a show?
No. Oh God. I don't think I could take it.
Is it a reality show or is it a scripted show?
It's a reality show, but it looks like it's not like a reality. It doesn't look like a reality show. Okay. But it looks like an episode of Chef's Table, except they're in a therapist's office, and it's like real couple and a real therapist, and it's real couples therapy. Oh, I think man. Oh my God.
That drive me like up the wall. I just had to throw myself off the cliff.
Man, no thanks.
Yeah. Oh God, dude.
Because there's a belief that there is such a thing as a relationship, like that's a concept, and that we're like working on it. Right? What are we working on? And it's like, there's nothing to work on. You can work on yourself, which is not working on your separate self-concept and being a nice person and being a good boyfriend or whatever. Yeah, it's rather just working to find out what's true for you. That's all you could ever do. You could find out what's true in your heart, in your body, and you could actually communicate that. Then that either lines up with the other person or not in this moment. And a lot of times it doesn't, right? So then we move from compromise. We go, but out of the belief that I need their love, attention, approval, etc., I will start to have breakfast when I don't really want it, or go on a trip that I have no actual interest in. And then couples therapists will vouch for that and go like, that's good. You're working on the relationship. It's like, you're working on a delusion. That's all you're working on.
See, that phrase is always weirds me out when it comes to relationship, is like working on it.
What are you working on?
Why? Going back to what you said, like going like effortless, like that's how I feel it should be.
Yes.
And it already is. You can name you probably name 100, not 100, but like you probably name several relationships you have right now with people who are not significant others where it is actual effortlessness.
Oh yeah. Like a lot of my friends are like that, where it's great. Like I have a buddy, he lives in Arizona, and he visits every once in a while, and it's great. Like we just go right back into how we were, and it's very effortless. It's just get a phone call. Hey man, we're going to the bar tonight. See you there. We'll pick up the story.
And you're happy to go. It's not like, oh man, I got to cancel my plans or whatever. Like there's no like weird, like.
And if you wanted to leave, he'd be like, cool.
Yep. Right? And he's totally fine with it. Oh yeah, it's great.
On that. Yeah.
And like I have another friend that like I've known him forever. He's a bit of a raging alcoholic, so very different from me. Like,
sure.
It's not my world. I'm not into that. I don't feel like I need to go to the bar every day. And so I have friends asking me like, oh, did you see him? And I'm like, no. And they're like, what do you mean no? And I'm like, he doesn't do anything that I like to do. I was like, if I go to the bar, I'll call him because I know he likes going to the bar. I was like, I'll do that, but I'm not going to make
He's
crazy effort to just be like, all right, let's go to the bar tonight. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the parts that are in alignment and effortless only and nothing else.
Right. And because it definitely, like, stress is so much non-existent almost at that point where you're just like, if it works, you know?
Yeah.
And I run like a pretty hectic schedule with stuff, but I try to do my best. And like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And like, sure, I feel bad, but I'm like, we'll get you on the next turnaround, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Love it. Yeah, there's just something about romance where we just have so many delusions about it.
Yeah,
and this habit of compromise, maybe just from our human history, but it's even more. There's even more at stake for being really authentic because it hits all the areas of our life, right? You basically have you live with somebody, you have like a business relationship, and you want to have all these levels and layers of connections if they're a true partner, to the point where you want to be. I mean, we want to be honest in all of our relationships and have them all be effortless, but this one's got to be like your Venn diagrams have got to overlap quite a bit to have it be really functional and true.
Well, I remember
my advocacy is going to be like having two different suites. You don't really live together and like have a completely sovereign life where like there's an overlap in the house, the kitchen and not the bathroom, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound juicy. It's not a good story, you know.
It's not a romantic story.
It's not but in fact, it probably is like way more romantic and sustainable for a long period of time where you do, you meet in the space where it's like, this is like where we have dinner, like this is where we have sex, and like, but it comes out of effortlessness, not like we're gonna like pencil you in, like it's just what sounds good right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's cool, but like I was gonna say that you've before sort of replaced the word compromise a little bit with like consensus, because I was like
Kieran,
I was like, how the Kieran did that. Okay, I didn't know that. I was just because I was confused, like how the fuck
do you not sort this? How
do you sort this? How the fuck do you not compromise?
Right. So it's just you're laying out all these authentic things about here's what I want, here's what I like, whether it's a home or just the day. She has Kieran has a bunch of, her name's Kieran Trace. If you go on YouTube, she has a bunch of like 5-minute videos that are all like hot tips for living, right? Super practical. And she gives
tips,
one of
tools for sanity.
Tools for sanity, exactly. That's her name of her book. Great little book. And I think there's one called like Compromise is Not Your Only Option, and it's just a 5-minute kind of layout of this, where it's like, so she talks about finding consensus. So it's like, okay, you're in your body, you're in clarity, which is you're only going to find it in the body. P.S. Only in the body. You're not going to find it anywhere else. You're going to find it out of stillness in the body. You're not going to find it in your hot head ever. So you got to come into your body and you got to find out what's true. So it's like, okay, I want to see let's say you're going to see your partner today. So you want to see them for lunch. And you're hungry. It's like noon and you're hungry, but your partner's not hungry. They've already had lunch at work, but they want to see you too. And they have a break in the afternoon. So it's like, okay. But now, so storyline could come in here, right? Where the girlfriend's like, well, you shouldn't have eaten. And Right.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like,
I should have waited.
Yeah. Why didn't you wait?
Right,
you should have known.
That's the romance story that I was sold, that you would sacrifice for me and wait for me, blah, blah, blah.
And he's over here thinking like, I should have done that.
I have no idea what you're
fucked
talking
up.
about.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a fuck up. This just proves I'm a fuck up. Yeah. So now that's two pain bodies, as Eckhart Tolle called them now in relationship. And it's a lose-lose. If you go on, if he goes to lunch and he's not actually hungry and she goes to lunch with her story, I mean, it's a lose-lose, right? But if it's like, no, I'm going to get a sandwich and you're going to meet me in the park. So it's like, he says, okay, I've got an hour after lunch. She's going to go get her sandwich and meet him in the park. They both want to sit in the sun on the grass, right? So basically you lay out what the day looks like. You have the consensus, which is I want to see you, but I'm not going to move from compromise. And I swear to God, if there are two desires on the table, there will always be an ability to find consensus. There's always a way that the Venn diagrams overlap, and it will always be a win-win. But we have been so trained to compromise, we don't trust it, and we don't have those conversations. So we don't even allow ourselves to say the truth.
Yeah, the conversations feel like they're like dying. Like like I've had these conversations before where it just feels like
dying.
it's
right,
like whole, like Yeah, you're dying
you have to
inside.
compromise your body. You actually have to like shut your heart down and shut your gut down.
Yeah.
And like not listen to the fact you're hungry. Like crazy stuff that we do out of the concept of love. And and we're not loving ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Out of fear of abandonment, we completely abandon ourselves. So then you lay out, here's what I want. Here's what I want. I promise there's going to be an overlap. And then that overlap, like sitting in the sun where you have a sandwich and your loved one is just holding you or whatever, I mean, like win, 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 right? Everybody gets what they want. So you got to be willing to go back to willingness to come into your body, and you got to be willing to tell the truth. And your fear is going to tell you shouldn't. It's going to tell you you're going to die. You're definitely going to be broken up with, and you're going to die alone.
Super going to lie.
It's super going to lie, and it's totally lying. So hot tip, it's lying. So don't listen. You don't listen to liars.
It's always lying.
Yeah, it's always lying. And you risk going for it, right? You put everything on the table. And then if that partner is not interested in your truth, well, really, is this a win for you, this relationship?
Yeah. But if the sovereignty exists, like
it can be so delicious.
Then that would just be, it would just
like your friend you were describing, right?
It would just be a movement of effortlessness. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that does take two people, very sane, out of their heads, in their bodies, and willing to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And that's how we're born. You were actually born that way.
Right.
You didn't fucking swallow food when you didn't want it.
Right.
So, you're made for that. Don't believe you're broken. Don't believe you can't do it. Don't even believe you're not willing.
Yeah.
If you're with us this far, you're definitely willing.
Right.
Yeah.
This is interesting at all to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Shoot, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. It's totally okay.
Can't remember now. It's gone.
That's good. We zapped everybody's heads.
Zapped him.
Shoot, I don't. Fuck.
It's okay.
My mind melted.
Beautiful.
That's literally what we did in our last meditation.
Yeah.
I had everybody's like, just feel your brain melting off your head. And everybody just like looked at me. They were just like love bugs. They were just like, all blissed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy what 45 minutes can do.
Mm-hmm.
So is that so how long did these sessions go?
The meditation's about 45 minutes. The discussion's about 45 minutes.
Is it like a hard 45 or are you pretty
totally?
Okay.
I have no idea. I can't believe
have
it's
no
always.
idea. Yeah.
I'm like, I did it. I have no idea.
It's like, it's over.
Oh, it's like, yeah, it's like this. Like it's over before you know it. It's weird.
Yeah. It might be different being on a stage setting. At least for me it is. I don't know about you. But like being the person I'm the only person in the room concentrating, because if I lose my place in the loop if I don't concentrate.
Right.
But I don't know if it's flying by for the audience or not. Whatever's there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's not. There's no agenda.
Mm-hmm.
We have like two things to do, and that's however long it takes is how long it takes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
For
good.
sure.
Yeah, not having that pressure of it's got to be done this way. It's got to be done at this window. And
Yeah, it does help. The venues the venue's like super forgiving.
They're cool about it.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
they actually have nothing to say about it. They're just like, do whatever you want. Yeah, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel like we do it here now. Where we talked about it in the beginning of like, oh, it should only be this long. It should only be that long. And it's like, nah, let's just go. Like, if people want, what's crazy is people listen to whole episodes, and I don't want to hear myself, but people seem to. So
yeah, totally.
I appreciate it.
Totally,
it's
great.
great.
What we were talking about, people love authentic conversation. It's so nice. It's like we don't have a lot of it maybe in our lives.
Yeah, I agree.
So to
with
just
that.
have us on the background or something.
And there was quite a bit of silence too within the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's funny. Like going back, I hate bringing this fucking guy up, but our one hater of the show,
the hater,
Joe, yeah, he we kept talking about it because his big problem with the show was I had a band on, this band Lavisher, great band, check them out by the way. Also the drummer in my band, Something Is Waiting, and they're great dudes. I obviously know the drummer really well. I'm in a band with him, and then the vocalist, guitar player is a great dude. And the idea of the show is just to have people on and just talk. Like that's what we love doing. And I don't make an effort to be like, all right, we have to hit hard all the questions about music that everybody wants to hear, or like that you can probably get in some magazine or another very hardcore music oriented podcast, For us, it's a conversation. And this guy got so mad about that. Like, he's like, it should have just been 30 minutes of Q&A. I'm like, okay, what?
Yeah,
like,
you don't have
an agenda.
You don't have
Right.
to listen.
It's
Yeah, you
like,
don't have to listen.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like there's other podcasts out there. But if this is like your favorite band, wouldn't you be happy that they're on another platform for you to check out? Like,
Right.
Being
don't know.
human beings and that like answer the robotic Q&As,
Right.
which we're all so sick of at this point. How'd you come up with your band name?
oh, I know. And it's like I try to avoid all
Fuck
that
you.
stuff. It's just like no, it's like, and I always joked about it before when people were like, oh, do you ever get political on the show? And I was like, you know what? I was like, we'll talk about it here and there. I was like, but there are better, smarter people out there that are talking about those things. So if you want that,
Yeah.
you should go seek that out. This is not it.
Or they'll come on the podcast and be educated and then have an actual conversation about it instead of us spouting off on something that we know
like,
nothing about.
I don't want to, like, I never want to bullshit through anything I do.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
I'll just sound like a fucking idiot if I do that.
Totally.
And I'm sure people
Oh my
would
God,
pick up
been
on
there,
that,
dude. Yeah.
But that's why I would much rather have somebody that's into that. Whatever it is they're into, I'd rather they have them on here and they talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'll gladly ask whatever questions pop in my head.
As they're chatting about it, for sure.
And it's been great because people get a feel for whoever's on the show and they're like, oh, okay, they're human beings, like, oh, they're real people. This is great.
Yeah.
I now need to check out what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's kind of what this turned into basically, which is what I like about this show. And it's just like anything goes,
Right.
It's just whatever. If somebody wants to talk about, I don't know, raising chickens, I'll do it for 3 hours.
You
if
should
you
talk.
want,
You should
know?
get. You should get like Rick from Audio Tree in here.
Yeah.
He's a weirdo.
Is he? The
But he's-
weirder the better.
But he's
I love it.
he's a sweetheart and he's an audio genius.
Oh, cool.
He raises chickens. So.
Wait, really?
Oh yeah, he's like a
I
farm.
was just joking. That's awesome.
No, he's like the eggs in my fridge are from Rick.
Ooh, that's awesome.
We like have
Hell yeah.
rotating cartons. Everyone in the office just like
Right, brings
gives a
them
carton.
in. That's awesome.
Yeah, he just gives us all eggs.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Doesn't get fresher than that, right?
it doesn't. You don't even, they're so fresh you don't need to refrigerate them. That's how.
Oh,
fresh
that's
they are.
awesome.
One of those. Yeah,
Nice. That's a good guy to have. I like that.
Rick's a great guy to have. Yeah, he's gonna do the record. It's gonna make it sound incredible.
You can get like pass out eggs at the record release.
Maybe pickles. He makes pickles too.
Really?
In fact, when we were tracking drums last month, Pedro had texted me like, "Hey, can you ask Rick to bring some pickles in?" And so I did, and Rick brought pickles just for
That's
Pedro.
awesome.
So it was great. Yeah. Yeah. Man of many talents. Rick Fritz. Shout out.
But yeah, you guys want to wrap it up?
Let's do it, man.
Let's see. Plugs. Anything to plug? Obviously, this.
Yeah, October 13th. I want to get it right. October 13th is our next community meditation at Tide House Chicago, which is connected to Shuba's Tavern on Belmont and Southport. Mix that up a little bit. And
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Come a little early.
Come a little early.
If you like, a meditation pillow or blankie, they bring your own.
Yeah.
But there's seats there. Obviously.
Yeah. It's actually a really comfortable space.
Mhm.
And then if you want to check out the meditations on Bandcamp, they are all available to download and purchase. It's Embodiment Together.
Nope. Embodied together.
Embodied. Wow. My ego just got crushed.
It's good you don't need it. Yes. Let it drop.
The ego death. I can feel it sapping out of me. Embodied Together. Embodiment Together. What the hell? Yeah. Embodiedtogether.bandcamp.com. And Embodied Together is everywhere on socials. If you want to just stay up to date on what we're releasing and like where the next meditations will be, it's all good. And then megrokel.com.
Meg Rokel, ROEKLE.com. I send out, a newsletter with our Embodied Together stuff, but I also write a blog, and I've got a bunch of really good resources on that website. It'll tell you a little bit more about the tools I use. And
Everyone Meg talked about today is like a resource on the website.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
go to the resource
Cool.
page. You'll see a picture of Luke and Yoda at the very top. And it just says helpful
Very
people.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the plugs. Yeah.
Cool. And of course, check out Outrun.
Oh yeah. Outrun the Sunlight as a side thing to check out.
Yeah.
If you want some rich music.
Right. Let's see. I'm sure there's probably something I should be plugging, and I'm not. And
Roman
I'll hear
Ring.
from there's nothing going
December
on there.
25th.
Actually, we will be doing a New Year's show again. We did it here. Actually, this is our buddy Dave's house. This is Baron Air Dave.
We met him. Yeah.
Awesome,
well, I
dude.
know Dave, but
well,
she
yeah,
met him.
Yeah.
He let
Love
us
him
in.
to death. He's a good friend, and so last year, kind of like almost last minute, we were like, let's just do New Year's here.
I
Like
remember
it's
that.
such a pain in the ass to figure out what to do for New Year's, and a lot of us always end up going to shitty parties or bars where it's like, this sucks. I should have just stayed home. You know, and it's like, what are my friends doing? Oh, they're over there. Like, well, I can't get over there. So then we were like, why don't we just play a show together? And I'm like, phenomenal. It's like, even if nobody shows up, I don't care. We're doing it with our friends.
Loud music.
It'll
Sounds
be fun. And so that will be probably the next Roman Ring show.
Hell yeah.
But we're
Awesome.
I think we'll do the same thing again where we streamed it live too. And so hopefully now so
cool.
hopefully we could push a little bit more. So that way if people don't want to go out on New Year's, which most people like in my age bracket now are starting to be like, I don't want to go out. You can
Hang
do it
out
from
with
the
you
comfort
guys.
of your own house. It'll be great. And from what I heard, I never got to see the video.
I didn't see it either. I didn't even
hear
know
the
it was
audio.
happening.
It was very last minute. It was so, cause like,
Is there a link anywhere?
no. So
What the hell?
Adrian just did it through
Twitch,
his
right?
Twitch account.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, because we did stream our 100th episode, so I do have it set up for that. So I might end up just doing it through my channel and all that stuff. Plenty of time now to really work on it and promote this a little bit better than we
Right.
did last year.
Right.
So yeah, I think that'll be the only Roman Ring show technically this year, or is that next year? I don't know how you want to look at it. I guess it's this year.
It's this
It's
year.
the last show of the year. Yeah. And then I know November something is waiting, has some stuff going on. Gobo is gonna yell at me. But then yeah, I'm gonna be gone for a little while. I'm gonna be in Europe. So hopefully this show is gonna be on autopilot, having episodes come out. So some of these upcoming episodes are gonna be weird. I'm sure we're gonna be talking about stuff that gonna be bouncing around and might throw some people off. Because I think we did a lot of them when Jason was gone.
Oh, okay.
So he was on tour, and so he's been back, and then he's gonna be gone again, but technically still here. But yeah, the joys of running this show.
Oh man, yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This was awesome. This was
You're
a
welcome.
blast.
It was
Thank
such
you.
a pleasure. Thank you.
But yeah, we'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of Nothing's for No One. You can like, comment, subscribe. Leave these guys some love. They're doing a great thing. Build a sweetheart. Embodied Together. Out.
Perfect. Thank you.